Good evening and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. Before we get in to Group A and Group C, let's have a quick recap on what happened last night in the opening stages of Group B.
Just below.
104.
You haven't seen a ton plus finish yet tonight. Can Justin Smith give it to us now? One dart. Just below.
104.
You haven't seen a ton plus finish yet tonight. Can Justin Smith give it to us now? One dart. A double
Game
16
shot the
is
second
all he needs.
141.
Great first start. We're looking at the treble 19 for double 12.
Game
And
shot
that is an amazing finish there from Graham.
He's himself on 60,
117.
so to save throw, Kenny needs this 117. He should get a dart at tops.
Game shot the third.
And that is excellent for Nick Kenny.
David,
Bad vibes for David when that 141 was called. Good vibes. If game shot is called, once tops.
Game shot
And
the
takes
first
it.
leg.
100
David
finish,
Pallett.
4-0 defeat of the day for Jared Cole. He lost in the opening game 4-0 to David Pallett.
Game shot
And he
on the
loses
match.
in the
Graham
last
Usher.
game of the day 4-0.
And it didn't disappoint. Delighted to be joined by my fellow commentator. Evening, Henry.
How are we, Mace?
I'm good, pal. I am good. A little bit jaded, but there you go. That's why I get paid the big bucks. Right, let's get the let's have a look at the action. What happened on Monday with Group A? That was completed on Wednesday. Lisa Ashton, who pretty much, well, maybe not dominated, but she led the field from start to finish. Had to beat Justin Smith in the penultimate match of the day to guarantee her place in Saturday night's final. Justin Smith, Graham Usher into Group B, Richardson, Tabron and Reed into Group C. Just about right for you, Lisa being the winner, Henry?
Yeah, I think over the course of the 3 days, she was the most consistent player. Justin Smith had a really good last day, just couldn't get over the line in the end in that deciding match. So Lisa more than earning her way, earning her stripes into that final tomorrow night. And
do you think the 2 days rest will suit?
I think for Lisa it will. I think she can go away, have a day of rest, just go and do whatever she wants to do, and then she can hit the practice ball today. I know she came in a little bit earlier, did a couple of media interviews, things like that. So she's been in the venue today. She's had a little bit of a look, get back into the darts focal zone, and then tomorrow it's in front of the crowd here on the big stage.
Absolutely. And if you want to be a part of this, dartshop.tv, all the information on there. The tickets are free. Come and enjoy it. Come and join us. All right, let's have a look at Group C. That was completed, well, just a few hours ago, and it was overnight leader Dan Reed who completed the job, coming out on top. So he joins Lisa in the final alongside Martin Thomas. It was an incredible group, Henry. And we have to have a special mention. Well, Reece Colley with a wonderful 110 plus average. But James Richardson, who bounced back from the disappointment yesterday of losing 5 out of 5, bounced back today, winning 5 out of 5.
Exactly, and the thing with the Super Series is you get opportunities. You can come back again, and it's a clean slate. Okay, he knew he couldn't qualify from Group C yesterday, but today. But what he could do is he can give himself that extra bit of confidence. He's getting those gains. In a normal tournament, if you lose the first game, you're eliminated. You go home. Here, you can work on things, and this is the best practice any player can get.
Absolutely. Well, as I mentioned, Group B got underway last night, so we're at the halfway point in Group B, and it looks like this. And unfortunately for Jared Cole, like James Richardson, he went pointless last night, and he has left himself plenty to do. But unlike the Group C with 6 players in it, this is a 5-player field, and it's the top 3, so he's not out of it.
Absolutely not. Look, he's not going to win the group, even though technically he can. It's probably not going to happen. Someone would have to sway. It's not impossible to go through. If he's going to do it, he's going to have to do it in 3rd position, and he's going to have to nick points off of Usher and Pallett somewhere along the line.
Yeah, he's going to have to win all of his matches this evening to have any kind of chance. But it is a tight group, and they're all capable of beating each other, as we saw last night. And the opening match is Jared Cole against Graham Usher, so his fate will be cemented pretty early. The bookies can't split them. They go 5 to 6 each of 2.
Interesting. I think if you based off the form of last night, you would go with Graham. But look, as you mentioned earlier with James Richardson, every day is a different challenge. And every day you're going to have a player who hits their strikes, hits their straps, and there's going to be days where other players have an off day. That's what's so compelling about this format. It's unpredictable, and you do not know what's going to happen.
You certainly don't. Well, this used to be a church, and at times Justin Smith played like a god this week, hitting 3 10 darters across the course of the week. Let's hope we can see a few of those tonight, and maybe one better and we get a 9. Well, I think the players are ready. Owen Binks is ready. This man will be hot-footing it downstairs to the commentary booth, where he'll be joined by Matthew Edgar.
Good evening and welcome to the conclusion of Group B. At the end of today, we will know our lineup for Saturday night's final. Graham Usher, the 49-year-old from Scarborough, put the longest miles in to be down here. He'll be hoping to be there, make the trip worthwhile. An 11-hour round trip for Graham Usher to be down here, 606 miles. Not a local derby for him. Seems to come alive when he comes down to the Live League. Certainly will be doing so at the Super Series. Jared Cole, 22-year-old from
Jared to
Hatfield.
throw first. Game on.
Seen him in the WDF World Championship this year. Went into that as a qualifier. So, has form and pedigree. Form beyond what we saw of him yesterday. Propping up the table in that bottom position. But surprisingly, when we cast our over the mathematics
99.
Jared Cole can actually still win this group. The bookies installing him way out at 200 to 1, but
97.
surely a chance is better than no chance.
Yes, evening, Matthew. Evening, everyone. It's not impossible, but it's improbable, I think it's fair to say. But where there's hope, there's opportunity, and you just get the sense as we have a look at Group B this evening, as I think we're just sorting out something technical here, Matt, is there's opportunities here for everyone. You sense the 2 players at the top, Nick Kenny and Justin Smith, on 6 points. They're in a really good position in the group, but there's a chasing pack behind them that can nick the first spot. But you get the sense that whoever can get themselves the 8 points should be as good as through.
You mentioned that Jared's got to win all these games, and that's exactly the position he's in, because someone on 4 points has to win that game. Graham Usher and Justin Smith will be playing each other, so something's got to give.
Most definitely that. And when you look into this evening, and it's so hard to base off of last night's form, because what we've seen this week is players that have, James Richardson, the case in point, you have players that have one really good day, then go off the next day, and then vice versa. You find in this week really hard to call, because the players really have been quite consistently inconsistent in terms of their streaks in matches.
James Richardson's done it twice, hasn't he? Tuesday lost all 5 games, and then he did it again. But then bounced back with 4 out of 5 and then 5 out of 5. We know Jared Cole's got that ceiling, the same that James Richardson has, so could certainly wind this league table back in.
Well, let's have a look at the odds for this evening. This is for the players to win Group B. Nick Kenny is the 13 to 8 favourite. Then Justin Smith is at 15 to 8. David Pallett at 10 to 3, Graham Usher 9 to 2, and as you mentioned, Jared Cole, perhaps unsurprisingly, is the big priced outsider at 200 to 1. And then outright for the week, I just want to gather your take on this. Dan Reed goes in now as the 4 to 1 favourite. He's trying to drum up some support on social media. He's been trying to get all of his friends and family down for the occasion tomorrow. David Pallett 9 to 2, the same as Martin Thomas. Nick Kenny you can find at 11 to 2, Graham Usher 6 to 1. Lisa Ashton 13 to 2, Justin Smith 7 to 1, which I think might be an interesting price, and Jared Cole at 18 to 1 as we get the play back underway.
I mentioned the price on Jared Cole. He actually started yesterday as the bookie's second favourite, 3 to 1 to win this group.
134.
Not yet to register a win on the board. But you mentioned Dan Reed now favourite for the week. He has shown us some special darts this afternoon. A lot of good finishes over the 100 mark. And says that's his Achilles heel. So if that starts going right for him, he starts getting a bit of confidence on there. He could become quite dangerous tomorrow night.
137. Jared 130.
Well, to get his first leg of the night on the board, It's all about confidence for Jared Cole this
94.
evening.
Graham, you require
He's not mathematically
122.
out of the running, not by any stretch, but he knows that to do anything, he's going to have to win every game, which
54.
effectively makes
Jared,
every
you
single
require
match a cup
36.
final. He wants double 18 after 15
Game
to get
on
the opening
first
leg with the darts. Jared Cole's account for the night is up and running. Graham Usher has work to do. He's 1-0 down in our opening game of the Friday evening
Second
session.
leg, it's Graham to throw first. Game
You
on.
mentioned that every game's a cup final for Jared Cole, but every game's a situation he's used to. One more defeat and it's game over as far as this group goes.
100.
That's something knockout darts mentality. He's here to play a tournament today. He can forget about group phases.
45.
He knows he can't afford to lose a single match.
In terms of psychology then going
100.
into the game, do you go in it with tension of I have to win everything, or do you go in it to say, well, look, no one's going to think I'm going to get through here. I'm the
42.
outsider of the law. I can just free roll and see what happens.
First thing he's got to do is he's got to
95.
get legs on the board and then turn them into points. Because as a dart player, you get a slight feeling of embarrassment.
137.
You feel like you should be invincible. Obviously, nobody is, but
140.
into this situation where we expect and we feel the expectation. And I think Jared would probably be more frustrated for the people that are following him rather than himself yesterday, because they would have expected a lot from him.
Yeah. 165. Graham, you're going 66.
Can Usher get his kicks on route 66? Double 16. He goes up above the wire. He's actually miscounted.
Jared, you require 112.
I think he wanted 50 and went straight for the bullseye there. Has he?
No, he wanted double 16 with the last dart, and he's
52.
gone smack in the middle of the...
Graham, he requires
double eight.
16.
It was just a look
Angel
on
on the
Usher's face. It looks as
second
if
leg.
it's either I've
Graham
missed it that
Usher.
high or have he's miscalculated.
It's all right, he'll just hit it again, like he has there for a 16 darter. Could have been
Then
a
it gets
15
Jared to
darter,
throw
but he'll take the
first.
16. But this is improved already from Jared Cole. I'm looking back through my notes from last night, and I can see that
58.
I made notes of a lot of trebleless visits for Jared Cole, and he lost the lie a lot. Found a lot of darts going into the fives and the ones.
180.
And he's a player who works on grouping so much.
60.
Even though it's a 60, that's a demonstration there. Usher's fairly similar. Usher's very similar.
180.
Hello, Graham.
He started strong the last couple of days as Graham Usher.
39.
Always starts the day
Graham, you require
strong.
141.
It could get no stronger than this, a 141. He tempted us, he teased us, he got us excited. But Graham Usher will be
93.
getting excited if he can get the 2 points. And this could be a breaker throw that will get him halfway to those points.
Graham Usher gave me my first 9-dart leg on
55.
comms. He
Graham,
came
you're
close to giving you
148.
yours. But all he'll care about is the leg in his leisure within the space of 12.
16.
He will return. But importantly, this leg is against the throw, which automatically, right from the get-go,
60.
puts
Graham,
Jared
you're
Cole under
132.
all sorts of pressure.
Ames on the
All
third
sorts
leg.
of pressure.
Graham Usher.
Because now he's going to have to obtain a break. Graham Usher is 2-1-2 the good. And of course, he's got his own battles, his own trials and
Well, I think
tribulations
it's Graham
tonight.
to throw first.
Sort of feeling a little bit here for Jared Cole because he's sort of carrying
60.
over the emotion of those 4 defeats, despite the fact these are much better thrown darts. You say about the grouping, been putting them just on the top wire.
96.
Nicely grouped together. Good thrown darts. He's just not getting the rewards at the moment. And because of those defeats yesterday and because of the league position,
140.
he's going to feel a lot worse when they're not going in. Going to feel a lot worse when
60.
you look at the average of Graham Usher. 98.10. Just shy of the 100 at the moment. He started
60.
strong. Last couple of days, we mentioned when he was on that 9 data, he opened off the week with a 99 average. And he tends to, at the start of the
45.
day, be in that mid to high 90s. And just as the evening goes on, he tends to find a couple of
60.
legs where he gets himself into a bit of bother.
In a comfortable position in this leg, and it would put him one away from a victory that would instantaneously eliminate Jared Cole.
60.
A victory that for Graham Usher would put him on to 6 points.
97.
Joint top right from the get-go with Nick Kenny and Justin Smith, who lead the way, the two Welshmen. And next up, we'll see Nick Kenny in action against David Pallett.
94. Graham Iroquois, 84.
Who could be in peril if Usher gains victory here. 64 left. Cole is on a finish. But he's saying,
68.
Jared, I don't think you're going to take out the
146.
146. Is he right? Is he wrong? Down for treble 19. Usher was right.
96.
The gambler's gamble
Graham
may have
Iroquois,
paid off.
16.
But Cole
Jared Iroquois,
returns.
50.
There could be another turning point in our opening match of the night.
34.
But Cole misses 2.
Graham Iroquois, 2.
And Usher's in Madhouse.
Game shot on the
He
fourth
gets the leg one in the end, but it was a leg that he was so comfortable in. And then he had to scramble his way all around the board up to double 1. He gets there in the
I
end.
think it's Jared to
And
throw
Jared
first.
Cole here with the darts has to hold to stay in the match.
It's just a continuation of the
83.
misery at the moment for Jared Cole. Just doesn't seem to be going for him at the moment. That double 16 is normally a good friend to him.
58.
He fancied that one, 2 darts in hand. That would have levelled the game and gave him the advantage of throw. He's got the advantage of throw still. But he's going to have to be perfect from
60.
here. We know he needs to be perfect for the day. He needs to win all 4 games. But if he's going to do that, he needs to win all 3 legs in this match. With the advantage of throwing 2, but he's going to have to find a break from somewhere. And the averages have him 10 points behind at the moment, which isn't good reading for trying to find a break.
He's in the last chance of all last chance saloons now, isn't he?
92.
Makes you wonder if he does lose this and the group's gone and the qualification's gone. If we've said about people being spoilers before,
58.
is he going to ruin someone's evening?
And I suppose psychologically, this sounds as if we're completely right and half. Of course, he can still
83.
turn this around. But if it does end in defeat, what does he do in the practice room? Because he's still got 3 more games to play. How do you try and psych yourself up and try and get yourself mentally in the right space, knowing that you've been
100.
eliminated, to go out and finish on a high?
I think when you said practice room, it just clicked
97.
in my head.
Jared Iroquois,
That it's
140.
almost going to turn into a day of practice, an evening of practice. He could have stayed at home and practiced on the board. He could be here playing some of the best players
60.
on
Graham
the
Iroquois,
stage in an environment
94.
with the cameras. That's the way he's got to look at it. There's still valuable time here, but there might not be any time left in this game. And there is
Shot
not
on the
any time
match.
left in this game. Jared
Graham
Cole's
Usher.
misery in this group continues. It is 5 defeats from 5 matches. Graham Usher takes that victory 4 legs to 1. He teased us to a 9 data. That's where the 2 180s came from. But it's an 86.01 average for Graham Usher, and he is in the running for Saturday night's final.
Good evening and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. 1 game down, 9 to go, and that looks like it's the end of the road for Jared Cole. Let's have a look at the stats in that one. And it is Graham Usher with an 86 average. He actually had the highest running average of all the players last night, 94.43 across 4 matches. Doesn't quite match that, so there is improvement available. And he did miss a lot of doubles, just 4 from 9. 2 180s, 2 140s, but the disappointment continues for Jared Cole. He needs to just open his shoulders, put a smile on his face, and enjoy the rest of the evening. So up next, we'll have a quick look at the table. And as you can see, with that win and on leg difference, Graham Usher goes top. Of course, Nick Kenny, Justin Smith and David Pallett all with a game in hand. And a seriously big game up next. We could end up with 4 players all on 6 points if David Pallett can get a win against Nick Kenny. David Pallett is the 4-7 favourite in this one. And I think the players are ready on stage. I think Owen Binks is ready. Our comms are ready. Let's get on with this match.
Thank you very much, Chris. Game 2 sees David Pallett and Nick Kenny head on to the stage. In terms of the league table, David Pallett's on 4 points following the first night's play. Nick Kenny went into the night joint top alongside Justin Smith. He's now got company on 6 points. Graham Usher's also there. Jared Cole has been eliminated from the competition following that last defeat. For David Pallett, victory is absolutely vital for him. He cannot afford to lose ground at this early stage of the evening. And again, in a similar way to Jared Cole, obviously he's got the points on the board from yesterday.
First against David
but
to throw first.
Feels
Game
after
on.
that first win for Graham Usher, knockout darts already for David Pallett.
It's interesting when we look at the odds for this. David Pallett was the favourite to win this group, 7-4 coming into yesterday. Overnight, that has changed Nick Kenny. So we're seeing the day 1 favourite against the favourite now after day 1 going into day 2. Nick Kenny obviously got the victory yesterday when the 2 met. It was a 4-1 victory for Nick Kenny, averaging 92. Really good, solid performance to end his evening. Mentioned yesterday that he looked a bit trimmer.
140.
One of the things he really wanted to point out to me on the way in. This is took off half a stone.
If only I could have concurred in that statistic.
180.
Everyone want to concur in that statistic. That's the first max of the match. It goes the way of Nick Kenny.
$52.
When we talk about people looking a bit trimmer, David Pallett looking a little bit trimmer as well. And I saw on the socials Jared Cole now getting himself in the gym as well. So players becoming
140.
aware of the fitness side of the game, it appears.
You can tell that you're entering the 21st century in darts when Strava becomes a popular Instagram topic
83.
amongst the players.
124.
So 1-2-4 for a break of throw for Nick Kenny, leaving the finish after 9. Treble 18. Leaves Imadada the bull
Going
to win the opening leg in style.
Nick Kenny.
In 12 with a break. Nick Kenny opens up his account for the night in some style.
Second against Nick to throw first.
Carrying on from where he left off
Game on.
yesterday. Won his last 3 matches yesterday. 4-3 against Graham Usher, 4-3 against Jared Cole, and then a great performance in the end. 4-1 victory over David Pallett.
55.
Victory here for Nick Kenny's going to put him in a very good position.
He'd be in effect through, you'd feel. He'd be on match point
92.
in the group. The magic number is, sorry, the magic number is 10 in Group B. If you get onto 10 points, you cannot be eliminated. You will be,
20.
oh my goodness gracious me. That's the second time we've seen something like that this week.
Yeah, we saw treble 20 get knocked out the board. I think it was Alan Tabban, wasn't it, earlier on in the week in Group A. And just a bounce out always hurts. But if you're going to have a bounce out that takes another dart with it, you can't imagine how Gary Anderson felt all those years ago at the World Championship when he put 180 points on the floor.
And meanwhile, you get James Richardson, who has a dart which basically jumps off the walls akin to a squash ball and then back into the treble 20 bed.
59.
Nick Kenny still kind of with opportunity. David Pallett's carving his own opportunity here to get that breaker throw back.
31.
A little bit of time on his hands. 60 points plus these. He's making use of them.
140.
Making very good use of them. A 140 there for Dave Pallett. Leaves himself 70. This is a dart player's friend, these sort of shots. You can take your pick. Do you like the 16s and 8 side of the board, 61. Or do you like tops?
David, you're going 70.
Looks like he's using the 10s. Uses it well. Sets himself on tops.
Game shot on the second leg.
On the double 10.
David Pallett.
That 70 finish is a nice one. You can pick your route, and David Pallett picked his route to perfection there. Takes the breaker throw back in 15
David to throw
darts. Gets us back on throw. This is a quality start to this one.
Both feeding off each other.
180.
And Pallett gets his first max of the night. His average now goes up above the ton, 101.2.
45.
Can you follow up, David? No is the answer. Straight on the other side into the treble 5. A max apiece in this game, a leg apiece in this game, a break apiece in this game. And in terms of the group, it's crucial for David Pallett as he tries to jostle for position within the top 3. He can put himself level with Kenny, Smith and Usher on 6 points. And effectively what we'll have here is everyone battling each other out, trying to nick points off of each other. And then Jared Cole will have the role of disruptor at the bottom of the table.
A role we have seen come into play quite a bit this week. Saw it in Group A. Saw it with James Richardson this morning. So I expect Jared Cole to still play a part in this. He's not just going to roll over.
$56.
David Pallett again with daylight in this one. Over 200 points ahead. Even a 180 here for Nick Kenny will not leave him on a finish. So David Pallett will return at the 120 with a guaranteed 6 darts. We could call it 9.
Tops.
80.
Goes above the wire, but it doesn't matter because Kenny's all the way back on 293.
$58. David, you're going 40.
Still got that luxury of time. Down for double 10. He may need it.
No score.
But he's bust his score. It's not a disaster dart. Of course, he's bust it, but at least he'll return for tops. But what he didn't want to see here, it may still happen, is Nick Kenny popping 2 trebles and then suddenly
45.
get a bit twitchy.
David, you're going 40.
Tops was his double of choice last time. Ended up taking it out on the 10s. That's exactly what he's done again in this one. David Pallett sees that away in 2 darts. That is a hold of throw. And a 2-1 lead for David
Nick
Pallett.
to throw first. Game on.
Interesting for Pallett. He's looking a little bit smoother tonight. And I actually like watching players and seeing characteristics. And if you just look at the David Pallett shirt, he's got it sort of like 1/5 tucked in around the right-hand side there. I wonder if that's just because on that throw-in side, he doesn't like the shirt sort of flapping around and moving around because he's
92.
untucked everywhere except on that right hip.
It's interesting because if you actually look at most of the players playing in tonight's action, Nick Kenny, an example here.
54.
They keep it untucked.
I know Ricky Evans was watching us last night. Big friend of David Pallett. You don't mind chucking us a tweet if you're watching, Ricky? Let
128.
us know if this is a David Pallett quirk, the thoughts behind it. But if I had to guess, I'd say he doesn't like that shirt like wafting around when he's releasing the dart.
55.
Feels like the first leg that's
92.
kind of been up in the offing. The other legs have been quite comfortable for the player who's gone on to win it.
99.
This is the Nick Kenny throw. And it is advantage Dave Pallett. That's took the
100.
advantage in the scoring phase. Means he will get a comeback at the 89. Possible 2 darter. Should at least get a dart at the ball as long as he can keep his dart straight. Not miss
40.
the big number.
David require 89.
Well, he's decided not to go for the bullseye. He's decided to go treble 10 for tops. The tops drag just below. Saying to Nick Kenny, metaphorically, I don't think this is going to go. He's already got a 1-2-4 in this game. But he will not add the 1-5-3 in this particular leg.
David
so Pallett returns for double 10 for a break of throw, 3-1 lead, and to put himself 1 away. He busts this in the last leg. He gets it in this leg, but my word, did it sneak into the bottom corner. It was almost deja vu for David Pallett.
And this sport, David to throw first.
Sometimes is won and lost on the width of a wire. In the last leg, it went the wrong side. This time, the right side. David Pallett might be looking on the bright side, leading 3-1 and with the darts for the match.
This would get the table very congested.
Be like the M25 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Graham Usher back on stage in the next game where we see Justin Smith for the first time. Justin Smith had a good day yesterday. He's just a couple of wins away from Saturday as well. So
41.
Things could start getting a little bit tense.
And that statistic on your screen now and the checkouts. I think tells 2 stories. Because in one way, of course, David Pallett's missed 7 darts at a double, but the other way you can look at it is Nick Kenny's 1 for 1. He's only had 1 double in the match, which means that David Pallett has absolutely
57.
dominated the scoring phase of this match.
What he has in this leg.
140.
The advantage of throw in the scoring phase. Nick Kenny back-to-back 140s. Leaves himself on the 1-2-1. David Pallett can do nothing. Even a 180 will not leave him on a finish.
140.
Will get the shot of the 1-2-1.
So already had a 1-2-4. He doesn't have to go for the bullseye here. And decides to stay upstairs as a consequence. Pallett back on 206. Kenny will be back for double 16 after 12 darts.
Staying on the treble 20 sort of
Nicky gave 32.
Kenny the option to tee at what double he wanted. He's chose the double 16. Need to come across to the right.
Game shot
And does exactly that. Nick Kenny with the second dart in hand. He chose a double 16. He got himself in a position where he could pick. And that's why he picked the double 16. Second dart.
Sig Flick is Nick to
Confident
throw
in that
first.
part of the board. The
Game
stats
on.
suggest it is Nick Kenny's favourite double.
And it was yet another leg that was just completely dominated by one player.
140.
And Nick Kenny kicks off 140 after obtaining the breaker throw to bring it back to 3-2. This is a leg for him. If he can get this, we go all the way to a decider.
134.
And at that juncture, it really is anyone's game.
We mentioned the social media jokes that he has about Nick Kenny Day, where he goes all year not doing anything, and then at the very end of it
100.
goes and does the exceptional. He got himself in that position in this game. David Pallett a leg away from the game, and then Nick Kenny starts finding the treble 20. It might be Nick Kenny game.
79. $140.
Again, 1-2-1 after 9. Quality darts here from Nick Kenny. 140, 100, 140. The scoring phase on the front 9 for the last 2 legs.
100.
And when you've got the throw, there's not a lot you can do. If you're David Pallett.
Interesting, Nick Kenny step back. I think he's had a look at David Pallett's score here. Because I suppose instinct would
90.
dictate that if you miss the treble 20 with the first dart, you go straight down for treble 17. But knowing that Pallett is on 188, he can think about his route if he misses
42.
that first dart at treble.
31.
This is looking like it's going to go all the way. 31 for Nick Kenny. Sets himself back up to that preferred area of the double 16. This is double 8 for Nick Kenny. Over to the 4s. Take us all the way.
Game
And
shot
he
the
hits
6th flag.
the double 4, a 31
Nick
finish
Kenny.
for Nick Kenny in 15 darts to level us up at 3 apiece. This one goes all the way. It's going to a deciding leg, and Dave Pallett
7th
will
final
be
against
throwing
David to throw
first
first.
for a crucial 2 points.
$92.
David Pallett, never seen this for a long time. I thought this was something that was coming out of the game, this treble 18 switch. He loves it over there. He's quite a lot of the treble 18, very successful on that section of the board.
44.
And the thing is, he's instinctive about it, isn't he? He's not going to mess about, and if the first dart's blocked, he'll just move straight over. Well, that's not a blocker.
180.
It's as perfect as it gets. The first dart was just such a tremendous lie. It was inviting 2 more to
59.
move in alongside. And now he's in firm control of this deciding leg.
Nick
96.
Kenny responded first. Dave Pallett now responding. 133 after 9. Nick Kenny with not just work to do, but fingers to cross and genies to find.
100. David, 133.
160 points back. David Pallett will just be looking to set this up. 1 treble will do that.
59.
So 74 after 12 for David Pallett. That's what he needs upon his return to seal victory, and it would put him onto 6 points. We're going to have one heck of a run to the line in this Group B if this 74 goes. But Nick Kenny leaves the fish just in case. He should get 1 dart at double top. Has to move along. And fires it in. And we are going to have a grandstand finish to Group B here. 4 players all locked on 6 points, courtesy of a 4-3 victory for David Pallett against Nick Kenny, with an 85.75 average, 2 maximums to his name, 4 from 11 on the checkouts, a high out of 74. Nick Kenny with a 1-2-4, but that turned out to be in vain in the end. When we return after the break, it's the last player we haven't seen yet tonight. That's Justin Smith. He's in action against the returning Graham Usher.
Good evening and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. So revenge for David Pallett in that one. Let's have a look at the stats. And it was Nick Kenny who won this tie 4-1 in our penultimate match of the session last night. But David Pallett with the win, 85-75. Finishing stats 4 from 11, 36.36%. Real highlight of that one for Nick Kenny was that fabulous 1-2-4. And we did think he was going to do the double over David. Alas, not the case. However, that really does make the table interesting. Let's take a look at that. And Graham Usher, Nick Kenny, Dave Pallett and Justin Smith are all on 6 points. The pointless Jared Cole is unfortunately eliminated this stage. Will still play his part and still could become somewhat of a spoiler. Up next it is Graham Usher against Justin Smith. And it was Justin Smith who won this tie last night. And of course, a win there for Justin. And he will top the table after one cycle of matches. They do go 4-6, Graham Usher. He's the favourite to win this tie. 11-10 about Justin Smith, but as I mentioned a little earlier, Justin Smith has a very high ceiling and has produced some serious numbers. Can he do it in our next one? Well, Owen Binks is on stage with the players. In commentary, it is Matthew Edgar and Henry Deacon.
Chris, thank you very much indeed. The last player we haven't seen tonight in Group B will get his campaign underway for Friday. Justin Smith in action up against Graham Usher. It will be their 5th meeting this week. They've been well acquainted to each other, the 49-year-old gambler. Graham Usher up against the bearded dragon, the 25-year-old Justin Smith from Cardigan in Wales. And what does this battle between the pair entail, Matt Edgar?
Game on.
I think the big thing that we need to look at now, when we've got 4 players and 4 players that are clearly evenly matched, where they're all beating each other like this, is how they are doing it. Graham Usher is top of the table at the moment due to that +8 leg difference. And he gets that from some big wins. The 4-1 we've seen earlier on this evening against Jared Cole. He got the 4-0 against Jared Cole yesterday. And he also got a 4-1 victory over David Pallett. So
100.
He's getting big wins, and when he's losing, he's only losing by the 4-3. Justin Smith beat him yesterday 4 legs to 3, and Nick Kenny 4-3. So in a group like this, then big wins could end up acting like an extra point.
Absolutely, leg difference is going to play a massive part as we edge towards the end of the Group B campaign. 4 players on 6 points, more 6s than a T20 international, as Graham Usher wants 139 for the opening leg. Has the luxury of time here with Justin Smith all the way back on 339.
Even a 180 won't be able to leave him and finish it or bogey him on the 159. So Graham Usher's going to get at least 6 starts here at this tops. Been pretty good on this tops and tens combination all week, and he's pretty good on it tonight as well. It's a 14 dart holder throw from Graham Usher. Justin Smith.
Second against Justin to throw
feet in this game pretty quick. In a group like this one, you do not want to be chasing.
Absolutely not. And the other thing as well is Graham Usher's already got the opening rub on the board, won his first game of the night. When you're the player sat on the 6 points overnight and you begin to lose games, the ascendancy in the group seesaws dramatically to the 2 players who were a part of the chasing pack.
131.
Don't forget, we've also got the Joker in the pack, Jared Cole.
100.
Play with a lot of freedom. Like a practice night now for Jared Cole. He cannot qualify.
59.
Without sounding patronising in any way, shape or form, just he can go and relax and just enjoy himself out on there. And as you say, treat it as a practice session. He doesn't want it to be, but that, unfortunately for him, is the reality of the situation.
Jared Cole got 3 more games to go this evening.
Justin, you've got 164.
Really play his part in that. He's already played Graham Usher, so he's still got Nick Kenny, Dave Pallett, and Justin Smith to play.
132, Graham. You've got 156.
Jared picks up a victory against one of those players. That could be the player that drops out of the top 3.
30. Justin, you require 32.
Well, 2 contrasting legs.
Both
been dominated by 1 player.
Justin Smith.
And we are level at 1 apiece. Graham Usher was far and away in the first. Likewise for Justin Smith in the second. We're level at 1 apiece.
First. Game on.
It's a game which is quite hard to make up at times.
83.
I think they're 2 players that this week at times have been really hard to read and perhaps impossible to predict.
60.
Just makes it all the more entertaining to watch.
Drama.
180.
Tension. And perfect arrows from Graham Usher.
60.
And Graham Usher won't mind if legs are being dominated on throw, because he has the honour in the odd-numbered legs in this game. If you are new to us here at the MODUS Super Series, first of all, a very, very warm welcome to you all. These players playing over 2 nights of action.
140.
The player on the left will throw first. The fixtures will flip from one night to the next, so both players will have an equal opportunity to throw first in their respective games. But that's a disaster dart for Graham Usher, because instead of leaving himself on 80, he's back on a ton. And could it open the door here for Justin Smith?
140. Graham, you require 100.
It's ajar if this 100 doesn't go.
60.
Just carved himself this opportunity by that 140 with his last two visits.
Game
and takes the opportunity with an amazing 101 finish there for Justin Smith. 9 of the best. 140, 101 the finish for a breaker throw and a 2-1 lead.
Fourth leg, it's Justin to throw
50% on the doubles. And resists the maximum of Graham Usher.
Kushi didn't actually get a double, did Graham Usher. He was sat left on tops. Now we've got to go.
40.
And that 101 could be a huge turning point in this game, but Usher chucks in a 140 right from the get-go here in leg 4. Smith responds in kind. And you look at the averages, 94.2, 89.8. This is a proper game of darts.
100.
Good pace, good darts, but bad thinking. Graham Usher should have utilised the 19s there. Could have 4 19s there, would have helped him out, set up a finish. Wouldn't have been able to leave a finish.
60.
So 49-year-old from Scarborough.
99. Justin, you've got 115.
Could get a chance depending on this 115 for Justin Smith. He's going to need a treble.
59. Graham, you've got 108.
Staying there. Double 14.
94.
Nearly rectified the situation.
56.
This is for a 3-1 lead. Double 18 across the board, all the way across and in. And Justin Smith is 1 leg away from putting himself onto 8 points. It'd be a huge blow for Graham Usher.
Game on.
Just cast my mind to the weekly head-to-head stats.
99.
And it looks like Justin Smith's had Graham Usher's number pretty much all week.
100. 59.
And of course, crucially for Justin, this is his first game of the night.
140.
So right from the get-go, he puts himself in a position where he's effectively on the hill, isn't he?
121.
If he can get the 2 points here.
If he can get them here, this will be very interesting. I said in the very first leg of this match, Graham Usher has that +8 leg advantage due to some big wins and only ever losing by the 4-3 scoreline. If Justin Smith can wrap this up in this leg, that'll be 3 legs off the Graham Usher
125.
leg difference. And he'll come back to the chasing pack.
Correct. 82. Graham, you've 197.
Just in case Graham Usher doesn't take this 97.
57.
Opportunity
for 82.
the match.
So 1 dart at tops,
shot on the match.
and Justin Smith gets the night off to a perfect start from his perspective. He puts himself onto 8 points. That could be so pivotal come the end of the evening. Let's round up the match stats then. A really good game. 88.5 average for Justin Smith. 92.6 for Graham Usher. Usher hitting the games 2 maximums. 4 from 7 on the doubles is what ultimately won it for Justin Smith. 57.14%. And that blockbuster 101 checkout to put himself in front at 2-1. That really did change the tungsten tide. We're going to take a short break. When we return, Nick Kenny's looking to get on to 8 points. He takes on Jared Cole.
So Justin Smith does the double in Group B over Graham Usher, and a convincing win this time, 4 legs to 1. And as the comms team mentioned, that puts a big swing in legs difference. So let's have a look at the stats. Graham Usher with the higher average, 92.64 to Smith's 88.58, but the doubling in favour of Smith. 4 from 7, including that wonderful 101. So how has that affected the table? Let's have a quick look at that. And Justin Smith, first player to move on to 8 points. But look at that, Usher, Kenny and Pallett all on 6 points. I fear the abacus may have to come out tonight. Nick Kenny against Jared Cole is our next match. Nick Kenny has been quoted as 8-11, even money about Jared Cole. Jared Cole, remember, yet to win a game in this Group B, and Nick Kenny won this tie yesterday by 4 legs to 3. All right, the players are ready. Our comms team are ready. So let's hand over to Owen Binks.
Thank you very much, Chris. Nick Kenny up against Jared Cole signifies game 4 of our evening here in Group B. Nick Kenny looking to respond from the setback of losing 4-3 to David Pallett in his opening game of the evening for Jared Cole. He's got that little bit of freedom. The shackles are off. He can't qualify now for the finals tomorrow night. So for him, it's to recapture and rediscover that form that we know that he's more than capable of. He's shown it on many occasions this year. Still the reigning ADC Global Belt holder. Made the last 16 of the Lakeside Championships, defeated by an inspired performance from Brian Roman.
Throw first.
So it's all about
Game
recapturing and rediscovering that form for Nick Kenny. There's all eyes on one thing, and that's the return here tomorrow night in front of a crowd here, live in Portsmouth. And with darts like that, he'll give himself the best possible chance.
Saying Nick Kenny's eyes will be on that, but you also feel that right now there's going to be a couple of eyes on this in the practice room. Because Jared Cole is going to be a very popular guy in there right now. People will be hoping that Jared will slip up for somebody. Graham Usher will certainly be doing that. He's already got his win over Jared Cole tonight, so they'll be hoping that Jared can find some inspired darts and go 3 from 3.
96.
It would put the proverbial cat amongst the pigeons for sure. We'll have to find a new notebook to jot down all the possible equations.
45.
It feels like a abacus type of night, as Chris Mason rightly alluded to.
58.
How good are you at tally charts and things like that?
I'll leave that to you. You can do all the tallies. I'll watch the darts.
My C in GCSE Maths may finally come in handy.
83. 96.
Said that Jared Cole's issue's been trebleless visits. 93, 96, 96 in this one. So although he's not registering anything in the tons column in this opening leg, he is getting trebles.
125, Jared 158.
We saw this done yesterday. Jared Cole wants double 19 to complete the job today. Doesn't happen on this occasion. And that would have been for a break. So Kenny returns for 51 after 15. Double 16.
Game shot in the first leg.
For a holder throw in the opening leg, and you could see a little release of emotion from the Welshman. This is what it means to the players.
Second leg is Jared to throw first.
And maybe that's just him psyching himself up. Disappointed in that first defeat to David Pallett.
31.
There was times where he didn't always look comfortable. Psyching himself up, getting himself ready, and having obtained the opening leg with the darts, having faced a dart to be broken from Jared Cole on double 19. He knows having getting the 6 points yesterday, he knows that 2 wins from 4, 50% card will be good enough to progress.
180.
Jared Cole finds the maximum. He's finding some good darts in this one. Improved performance already from Jared Cole. The shackles are off, but Nick Kenny responds. 180 for Nick Kenny, his first of the game.
100.
He hit one earlier in his game against David Pallett. I'd love to follow that in with something here to threaten the Jared Cole throw.
And this is a much improved performance from Cole. 99 average. Nick Kenny averaging 101.3.
95. 72. Nick, if
we're carried on in this vein. We're going to have some serious Friday night fun here at the darts. Nick Kenny wants 130 after 9. Cole back at 118. This is for a break. And the fly, the mysterious fly, the Pompey fly is back.
Jared Cole will be back. 118 the finish. He had a shot of that 158 in the last leg. This is significantly easier. He only needs one dart.
Jared
the
to require
treble.
180.
So allow him a dart at the double, and it'll be a more preferred double than the double 19 you got to poke at in the last. Well, I say that. He's left a double 19 again.
Game
And
shot the
this time,
second leg.
he pings
Jared
the
Cole.
double 19. Jared Cole takes out 118. The finish. A holder throw.
You don't see many games
I think it's
dictated by a
Nick to
double
throw
19.
first.
Well, the story of both legs for Jared Cole has been about a dart that he got at double 19 and a dart that he missed at double 19. Those are the averages, a maximum apiece, a leg apiece. 100.5 average for Nick Kenny, 98.3 for Jared Cole. This is some really good stuff, and we said about Cole that he can just relax and enjoy his darts, and he's throwing the best that he has done this week.
Throwing with pace. Purpose in those darts. Kelly just feels a lot better about things at the moment. 86 is the best average he's managed to put in so far this week. This is well above those levels. I said in the first game the darts seemed to be going in a little bit better. The grouping was good. There was well thrown darts. There just wasn't landing for him. Starting to land in this one. 118 finish was spectacular.
29.
Of course, Cole has been eliminated, but if both of these two make the
104.
finals, two really good walk-on songs. Nick Kenny walking on to Feed from Desire in the past. Jared Cole, King of the Castle, King of My Castle, isn't it, by Ramju Project.
140. Jared to require 170.
That's my history knowledge pretty much nailed on the head there.
Kenny needed that last start in the treble 20 to be able to leave himself a finish. 140 wasn't enough to do that, so Jared Cole able just to tee himself up on the 65. This for a breaker throw. Down to a 2-darter after 12.
95.
Do you reckon he's going to leave double 19?
Jared to require 65.
I didn't think he would last time, and he did. I don't think he will this time, but he could do if it's a double 1.
25.
That's a well-thrown dart.
Nick, you require
Well, it would
83.
feel like a break, but it would only be a hold for Nick Kenny, this 83. Starts on the 17s. Oh, my. Double 17.
66.
It's
Jared
all
to require
down south at
40.
the minute. We're heading into double 10.
Game shot on the third leg.
Which is Jared Cole's darting den at the minute. That's a huge breaker throw for him. He leads 2-1. With the darts, can put himself 2 clear with 1 more to win to claim his first win of Group B. And has Nick Kenny missed a trick there?
See, he wasn't happy with that double 16. It wasn't a well-thrown dart. It wasn't what he was going for. Sometimes it can throw you off a little bit. You could see he was almost praying to the board when he went up for that double 17 retrieval.
60.
Sometimes you can get a bit of lag when your concentration comes off, and it can affect you for the next 6 or so darts, or certainly until you can find your next treble 20.
And for Nick Kenny, when the first dart drops just underneath the treble 20, it's as bad a lie as it possibly could be for him because it obscures much of the bed.
95.
Just thinking Jared Cole must be thinking, where have you been for the last 5 matches? Because this is the Jared Cole that we expect to see. Has his average over 100 in this game, but currently running at a 93. Significant improvement on everything we've seen from him so far. In every department, the trebleless visits, keeping the darts straighter. As many in the 5. The cover shot is working.
134.
It's certainly working there. Finds a 1-3-4. Looking to hold his throw in 15. If you can be looking at a 15 darter on your throw, you are very rarely going to get broken.
59. Jared requires 72.
Indeed, Jared Cole wants 72 for a 3-1 lead. One more of them leaves double top.
52.
But it drags just below. On the last leg on double 10, he's going to return for it in this.
He can just set himself up.
And
sets it up perfectly.
Jared requires 20.
Second 180 of the game for Nick
Game's
Kenny.
on the fourth leg.
But it means nothing to Jared Cole, who steps up and pings the double 10 with the first dart for a holder throw. That's a 16 dart leg. The average around the 93. And right now,
Nick
Jared
to throw
Cole
first.
will be a very popular figure in the practice room.
And a first win for the player who is last in the group would mean everything. 3 from 9 on the doubles, 33%.
60.
Which means every single time he has 3 darts in hand, he will get it at a visit. A high out of 118, courtesy of a double 19.
140.
A little bit risky there by Nick Kenny. That was a little bit loose in the board. We've seen people lose points where they've knocked the dart out already this week. Jared Cole finds his second max of this match. Didn't hit one in his game earlier against Graham Usher.
25.
Looking over yesterday, he had 2 180s yesterday. One against Justin Smith and one against Nick Kenny.
91.
Leaves himself on the fish for the match. Will he have to take it? Well, that first dart's a nice lie for Nick Kenny, but he couldn't work his way about half an inch down.
170.
So Cole has 6 for the match from 170. He's going to need the 6.
58.
To claim his first victory of the group. He wants 112 upon his return.
Perfect start from Nick Kenny.
100. Jared record 112.
Frustrated with a turn. He'd expected a bit more there. He might not be coming back. Tops.
92.
It's 76
Nick
for Nick Kenny.
76.
Be getting at least a dart here to hold his throw. Just to pick his route. To pick the 18s.
$58.
Drops it low.
Jared required 20.
The moment Jared Cole has waited 2 days for.
Game shot
His
on the
first
match.
victory of the
Jared
group
Cole.
is complete. Jared Cole is on the board here in Group B. Let's have a look at the tail of the tape. An average of 93.22. 2 maximums apiece. 4 from 11 on the checkouts. And a high out of 118 for Jared Cole. He gets his first victory on the group. It means Nick Kenny is stranded on 6 points. Has he lost ground? We're about to find out, because after the break, we're going to see another 2 men who are in that hunt to get themselves into Saturday night's final. David Pallett on 6 points up against Justin Smith, who leads the way on 8 points.
Good evening and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. So our overnight leader in Nick Kenny, in the space of 2 games, goes from 1st to 4th. Let's have a look at the stats in that one, and it is Jared Cole getting the win, and in convincing fashion, 4 legs to 1, an average of 93.22. His average for the entire evening last night was 81, putting some 12 points on his running average in that one match. 4 out of 11 on the doubles, and that slightly game-changing 1-1-8 finish. Disappointment for Nick Kenny in that one. Up next, it's another big, well, they're all going to be big games from now, of course. All the players completing 2 games. Let's have a look at the table. As you can see, the only 2 players to not complete a second cycle of matches is Justin Smith and David Pallett, and they face off in our next match. Justin Smith is even money. He has the throw. David Pallett is the 8 to 11 favourite. But all the matches now have something on them. Remember, it is the top 3 that will join Lisa Ashton, Dan Reed and Martin Thomas in tomorrow night's final. Without further ado, I'm sure our referee is ready and our comms team of Matthew Edgar and Henry Deacon are ready.
We most definitely are, Chris. Thank you very much indeed. David Pallett up against Justin Smith. Smith can put himself through with a victory here, put him onto 10 points, and in Group B, you cannot be toppled from a place in tomorrow's final on that figure, up against David Pallett, who could put himself on the verge of progression if he can get himself onto 8 points. Nick Kenny and Graham Usher are waiting in the rings, though, elsewhere, also on 6 points. We will see Usher and Kenny go toe-to-toe in our next bout. One of them will make it onto 8 points. And we were saying before we came on air tonight, Matt, that we're going to find out quickly what the narrative of the evening is going to be. But before we began, we had no idea what it was going to be.
Still don't think now we know what it's going to be. Don't think the players know what it's going to be.
57.
They know what they want it to be. But what it's going to be, nobody knows at this point. When we look at the data and the stats, that's not even giving us much of an indication.
128.
Like we say, we've got the joker of the pack. Jared Cole playing the role of spoiler, 93 average in that last one.
100.
And not just taking the victory over Nick Kenny, but taking 3 legs off of his plus and minus leg column, which
45.
I'm expecting legs is going to come into play somewhere along the line here.
And of course, qualification is so key, but also is where you finish in the group. For every place you put yourself, you reward yourself. Another group will get advantages going into tomorrow night's
100.
final session, which is live here with us from 10 p.m. in front of a crowd in Portsmouth. You can join us for finals nights up until week 12. You can get the free tickets on sale. Head to dartshop.tv for more information on that. But Justin Smith leads 144 after 12 with the darts. It's been
42.
fairly routine
Justin,
on throw thus far, and he's going to get 6 at it.
Tees it up nicely for the 44. Expect him to be using the 12s to leaving the double 16. That's sort of been the route he's been enjoying, and it's been very successful for him in that part of the board. David Pallett just hitting and hoping.
150.
He's done his part. He's done
Justin
the hit.
44.
Now he leaves it to fate.
Game shot on the first
And waiting
leg.
for Justin Smith to miss double 16 is not a productive plan. Very strong in this part of the board. Takes out the 44 in 2 darts, which seals
Second
him
leg is David to throw
a 17
first.
dart holder throw. David Pallett. We're wanting to start this leg the same way he ended the last.
128.
And he's doing something fairly similar. And again, we see the switch from the 20s to the 18s. Bit like Justin Smith there, but David Pallett wastes no time. He knows that he's a good cover player on the 18s. So when he gets the first opportunity to do so, he will take it. Case in point again, but this time it drags the other side. And again. And what this has done is potentially give Justin Smith an opening against the throw.
140.
Remember, a game if he wins, he shall find himself as one of the 6 qualifiers for tomorrow night's final.
Very nearly
140.
was already there. Missed out on Wednesday by just a couple of points. Came down to a one-game shootout between him and Lisa Ashton. Lisa Ashton taking that win, putting her through directly to the final tomorrow, but that could so easily have been Justin Smith.
Be hoping it's not a case of Justin missed
58.
out on the finals. To be fair, we've been quite subdued in that department tonight.
60. David, you've got 164.
We've used them all up, haven't we, at this point? So I feel like 164 would be a good shot for Pallett if he can get that
94.
treble
Justin,
20.
147.
Him switching over to the 18s quite a lot. It's to take his pick on this 70 if
67, yeah.
early as any indication. He's going to try teeing up tops.
David, you've got
See him
70.
throwing at the 10s. Treble for tops. Gets the treble.
Game shown the second
Comes
leg.
low, but gets
David
the double
Pallett.
10. Exactly the same that he did earlier in his game with Nick Kenny. Same route, same formula, same result. It's a 70 finish for David Pallett, who levels the game up
to throw
at one leg apiece. So hold a throw. And you sort of get the feeling this game's going the distance.
96.
Indeed, that'll feel like a Pallett cleanser. And it's a game that's so pivotal for David Pallett to win because he knows in the next match between
57.
Usher and Kenny, one of his key rivals for the top 3 will get themselves onto 8 points. Doesn't want to
77.
leave himself stranded in a drift and then fighting for one position. You then play Graham Usher in his next match.
95.
And then his final game of the evening would be against Jared Cole. That's in game 10, the final match of the night, the final match
43.
of the group. Our final match before we welcome the crowd in tomorrow night. A reminder, dartshop.tv to see how you can join us for all the darting fun every Saturday night.
92.
Tickets are free of charge as well. So do come and join us.
97. 60.
Justin Smith looking to hold his
58.
throw here, but presents a bit of an opportunity here for David Pallett. Justin Smith might be restricted to a dart at the bull from 130.
60.
Just gives him
Justin,
a
you've
little
got
bit of
130.
time. Leaves a bit of stress.
105. David, you've got 137.
Offers a minor opportunity for David Pallett to break the throw. Comes a bigger opportunity. Stays on the 16s. Needed the treble for the double.
121.
Gets the treble that time to leave himself the double 8.
Which is what Justin Smith wants. Just inside, it's a double 4.
21.
And so
David
Pallett will
requires
get
16.
the opportunity to carve out the break. Moves across. That should be a nice enough lie. One dart left.
No score.
Oh my. You couldn't
Justin,
see
you require
3
4.
better thrown darts at a double that end up being missed. And Justin Smith is heading up to the
Aims on
madhouse.
third leg. Justin
But
Smith.
there's no madness or shenanigans for Justin Smith. He was facing the breaker throw against him. He manages to hold by hook and by crook on the
Fourth leg,
double
it's
one.
David to throw first.
And Pallett may have sensed an opportunity come and go. If he ends up losing this game, we might be looking back at those 3 missed darts at double 8.
56.
We've been trying to pull puns all week. Without even realising there, you've just
96.
got one in with the just inside.
Ah.
Is that scary that it's now just coming out naturally?
I might try a new
84.
career as a comedian, see how it works.
We teed it up some karaoke earlier.
You do not want that.
100.
Failed career. Did we agree in the end we're going to stick with the Hoover?
I was happy with the Hoover. I think
92.
we're going with Henry the Hoover for the nickname, but Henry's darting nickname. Got an interesting nickname on stage, the Bearded Dragon. I did speak to
58.
Justin about that and says, what if you ever shave your beard off? You're going to change your nickname. He says, the beard will never go. Doesn't like baring his chin.
99.
Just need to have a look, actually. This David Pallett.
60. David,
Can't
you've got
think of the
170.
nickname. We don't have one for David Pallett at the moment.
105.
Maybe that's our social interaction for the evening at MSS Darts is where you can find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. But that is absolutely fantastic from Justin
David
Smith.
Require,
It
65.
puts all the pressure in the world upon David Pallett. This 65 has to go. 2 darts at tops. That drags below. Double 10. Huge dart
Aims
incoming.
on the fourth
But
leg.
David Pallett is up
David
to the
Pallett.
task. Justin Smith left himself on double 8 to get the breaker thrown to put him one away. And a pressure last dart at double 10 goes in for David Pallett. And we are level here at 2 apiece.
39.
Scouring round on the socials at the moment, seeing what we can find on David Pallett, and it doesn't seem to be coming up with a nickname which is unusual in the modern
95.
era of darts.
$100.
We'll have to get one of those custom-made shirts. Henry the Hoover Deacon.
$75.
You know how Steve Hine walked on at the World Championships with a load of muffins?
You're going to come down hoovering the carpet.
140.
I think Dan Dawson would get very excited about that prospect. The Chief Commissioner of the World Hoovering Championship.
There's just one problem, though, with this whole plan. And that's you first need to get a
58.
stage to walk onto.
That's true. I'll tell you now, my
140.
47.5 average will not get me anywhere near a stage.
Justin's averaging 86 in this one, which is more than enough against David Pallett's 80 at the moment. And you can see that in the scoring
140,
stakes here,
Justin
Justin Smith
82.
will still fancy himself for 6 darts. Might need them after missing the 25 under ball option there.
42.
He's up nicely
David,
on tops.
133.
Once again, a mini opportunity for David Pallett, which is all he seems to be able to carve out at the moment. Not going to put a nail in that one.
86.
So Justin Smith.
Justin, you've got 40.
Tops for a holder
Aims on
throw.
the 5th leg.
And that's
Justin
exactly
Smith.
what he has delivered. Justin Smith moves himself 1 leg away from the match in this race to 4. Hold a throw for Justin Smith.
Sifler gets David to throw
16
first.
darts.
Qualification point for the bearded dragon. One more leg. And he's there. He's into Saturday night's final. But David Pallett
138.
moves across once again to the 18s. Ain't going to give up without a fight.
Sort of feel
57.
Justin deserves this. He's played well all week. Been one of the standout performers at times.
Been one of the consistent performers as well.
140.
There's not really been too many poor performances. I can't recite many, if any.
177.
And maybe he's making a charge towards the line. Okay, Pallett's got 6 on 2-2-3. But Justin Smith just gives him the tap on the shoulder.
Say he didn't have too many poor games this week, but
140.
the one we can really highlight would be that game with Lisa Ashton where he had the opportunity to go straight through to Group A. So, being back in that situation,
45. David,
he
you've
just
got
stewed on that for a
83.
couple of days and just wanted to replay that game. He can replay that moment now. A win here puts him through. Can't really replay it in
51.
this leg as such, but if this goes all the way 3-3, that'll be a position he's dreamt about ever since losing to Lisa Ashton on Wednesday, where he's 501
44.
points away with
David,
the
you've got
throw.
32.
Because after 12, Pallett wants 32
Game on the 6th
with the darts. And so for
David
Justin
Pallett.
Smith, his first opportunity tonight to qualify through to tomorrow night's finals. He has the darts
7th and
in the
final leg.
7th
It's
and
Justin to
deciding
throw
leg
first.
to beat David Pallett and to join Lisa Ashton, Dan Reed and Martin Thomas in the final. And he
180.
starts in style.
Said he's been dreaming about this moment ever since losing to Lisa Ashton on Wednesday in a game that would have put him through and give him a couple of days off. And he responds
100.
perfectly. 180 with the first 3 darts. Just needs to find one treble.
59.
Sort of halves the 180. And I'm not a fan of that 19 play there. I think he'd been better switching to the 17s. Because now he's going to have to move again if he doesn't find a treble 20 with that first start. Putting a 2 on
92.
the end. Makes it a little bit more awkward.
And Justin Smith is just mapping out his route. Starts on the 18s, moves across to the treble.
98.
And that's going to leave him on 164.
That's again a poor switch in the last shot. Forces him to be perfect.
42. Justin, you've got
Justin Smith doesn't need to be
164.
perfect here. I think he might have just caught the fly. Can he catch the 164? Doesn't attempt it. Attempts the setup. 84 left.
140.
Perfect setup from Justin Smith. He'd been dreaming of this moment and he'd been dreaming of this position. 24 left after 12 darts. Dave Pallett a long way back.
140.
Smith for qualification.
Justin, you've got 124.
The dart he's been waiting for since defeat to Lisa Ashton on Wednesday, which ended his hopes in Group A. And so one dart at double
Game
4
shot
will
on
see
the
Justin
match.
Smith progress
Justin
to
Smith.
tomorrow night's finals. After narrowly missing out in Group A, he takes full advantage of the opportunity in Group B, and this is how he did it. With an 86.63 average, the solitary max of the match, 4 for 9 on the doubles, a high out of 44. David Pallett is stranded on 6 points. Justin Smith is anything but stranded. He's on cloud 9. He's through to tomorrow night's final. And a big, big battle to see who joins him in the mix is coming up after this short break as Graham Usher takes on Nick Kenny.
Good evening and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. So we have our first player confirmed out of this Group B, and it is Justin Smith. Let's have a look at the stats from that one. And as you can see, Justin Smith, 86, 63, 87, 88 for David Pallett. The slightly better ratio on the doubles for Smith, 4 from 9. Identical 140 scoreline. But it is Justin Smith who just edges him out, and he found that 180 in the deciding leg of the match. Let's have a look at the table. And it is confirmed Justin Smith now on 10 points. All the players have completed 2 matches. They all have 2 to play. But Justin Smith on 10 points at worst could only finish in 3rd place. So 2 will have to go, well, 3 will have to go into 2 out of Usher, Pallett and Kenny. And our next match is 2 of those 3 as Nick Kenny takes on Graham Usher. Nick Kenny won this tie last night 4-3, but it is Usher who's the 4-6 favourite, 11-10 about Nick Kenny. Well, Arwin Binks, our referee, is ready. Our comms team of Matthew Edgar and Henry Deacon are ready. Let's get on with the action.
Thank you very much, Chris. This could well be one of the biggest games we're going to see tonight. And come the end of it, we really are going to see the narrative develop as Graham Usher takes on Nick Kenny. Both of these players locked on 6 points. And after this, will only have 1 more game left to play. So for one player, they can put themselves in a real promising position going in to the final furlong here in Group B.
Sort of just ticking off the opportunities, aren't we? 5 players came into this group. Jared Cole fell first. Justin Smith's gone out the other end. We're now just 3 players left in the run-in with 2 places available, so we need to lose 1 more from somewhere. The winner of this is going to put themselves in a very healthy position.
Okay, first look, it's Graham to throw first. Game on.
Next game after this is Justin Smith, Jared Cole.
100.
Both sort of sealed their fate in the direction this group is going to go for them. Justin Smith going through, but will now be playing for places. Where you finish in the group will depend on if you have advantages of throw in certain matches, which,
57.
as we've seen in many games, you go 3-3. The advantage of throw could really play its part.
81.
About going for Saturday night game show hosts, points mean prizes here at the Super Series. And the more points you get, the higher up in the table you go. And if you can top Group B, it helps you out going into tomorrow night.
97.
For more than one reason. For Nick Kenny, he's 0 from 2 tonight. Lost out in the last leg decider against David Pallett, and then had a 4-1 defeat inflicted upon him by Jared Cole. Having won 3 from 4 last night.
39.
It's been an opposite form guide this time round. And Graham Usher with the darts finds himself in a healthy position after 9 thrown.
So he went 3 from 4
45.
yesterday. The reaction from the bookies, installing Nick Kenny as favourite to win this group. A long way off of that at the moment. A long way off that target as well. A long way off this
44.
leg. Graham Usher, 175 points away from 1-0.
81.
Going to return for the 94. It's been a comfortable first leg thus far for the gambler. As Matthew rightly mentioned, Nick Kenny went off 13-8 favourite to win the group this evening. But Graham Usher wants tops to win the first leg. Nick Kenny hasn't won a game yet. He finds himself a leg down in the 3rd matchup he's faced this evening.
Second against Nick to throw first.
And it was comfortable as well for the man from Scar, but Nick Kenny's going to have to find something here.
85.
Yet to register a visit in the ton plus category.
134.
Catching this treble 18 cover shot. Graham Usher now deciding to utilise that as part of his arsenal.
140. 100.
Graham Usher, a dart player who can play with both hands. Play right and left-handed. Witnessed that myself yesterday. Nick Kenny also trekked me to a left-handed dart, which to point out.
180.
Made a big point of that, and there's a lot of points there with those three. 180.
140.
Graham Usher's very good at reacting to that big call.
196.
Tends to follow it in.
Going to head downstairs. Wanted to go the treble 16 route on 76.
56. Grammy 127.
Turns to tops if this 127 doesn't go. And game.
$91.
But that sells wide of its intended target. So Nick Kenny will return for tops after 12. Been a really good leg from both.
Game shot the
Nick
second
Kenny
leg.
that gets
Nick
it in his
Kenny.
leisure. And level us up at one apiece. All with throw thus far. Graham Usher will be hoping that that trend continues here in the third. In this crucial battle to see who can get themselves onto 8 points. And put themselves in an incredibly healthy position to progress through the group. The perfect start to leg 3 from Graham Usher. His average now ticks above 107.
He teased us the 9 darter earlier.
59.
Got the 2 180s and then missed the 7th. He's done this before.
140.
He nearly teased us again. 5 into it. We sort of feel it's bubbling, and Graham Usher's just one of those players, isn't he, that when he starts hitting, he just looks more likely.
180.
Kenny with his second 180 of the match so far. That's 3 in total. 2 for Nick Kenny, 1 for Graham Usher. This is warming up. A lot on the line in this one. This stage.
92. Graham,
One more game to go
126.
after this one. Nick Kenny will be playing Justin Smith, who's already through. Graham Usher.
101.
Busy night.
Nick Require 170.
Are we going late night fishing? Down in the deep blue Super Series C.
60. Graham, required 25.
Not on this occasion. Graham Usher wants
Game
double
shot
8,
in the
gets
third
double
leg.
8. On the back
Graham
of a 25 combination. He leads 2-1. His average is over 102. It's been an impressive performance from the gambler. When he knew he needed to put a big one in. It's a big game for both. And it is Usher who at the minute is rising to the occasion. But don't rule out Nick Kenny, an average just below 90. And he's just been finding a way in this game to hang in there. But he may have opened the door somewhat for Usher when you look at his power scoring stats.
100. $140.
Nick Kenny held his throw in the last 14 darts.
41.
Graham Usher responded with a 14 dart holder throw of his own. So both players finding their best when throwing first in a leg. We'll need to find something like that against the throw, will Nick?
125.
Get the 2 points in this one.
Certainly.
100.
Thank you to everyone that is tuning in to us at home. And very good evening to Sean McDonald, who's tuning into the coverage this evening. Hopefully we'll see him here very soon. Nick Kenny would have liked to have seen both of those 2 darts over the other side of the treble 5 wire. recovers the visit with his last start to leave 75 after 12. Usher back on 260, so he's going to get a poke.
60.
And he's got time.
Nicky
on
requires
his hands.
75.
6 starts if he needs them. Might really need the 2. That leaves him double 12.
63.
Comes low. He will be back though. There's a luxury of time with Graham Usher back on 200.
140. Nicky required 12.
For 6. We'll hold a throw. It could be awkward.
6.
It was. He's come
Graham,
down
you
the
require
barrel
60.
and come low, offering Graham Usher the opportunity to
Game
break
shot
the
the full
throw.
flag.
And one thing we've learned
Graham
about Graham
Usher.
Usher this week is he doesn't need that much of an invitation. 60 finish for Graham Usher, breaks the throw, takes a 3-1 lead, and is now throwing for a
Fifth leg, it's
crucial
Graham to throw
2
first.
points.
Game
And
on.
Nick Kenny could be getting a little bit of danger here. Because not only could this be a defeat, but it could be a
100.
back-to-back 4-1 defeat, which would give him -6 from his last 2 games in the legs column.
Indeed, and we've mentioned how important the legs difference bracket is.
140.
And especially when a group is as tight as this one.
29.
And Graham Usher is on his way towards a huge 2 points. 2 points which would see him on the cusp of qualification
100.
for tomorrow night's finals.
We made the joke, though, before about
140.
Nick Kenny went 3-1 down against Dave Pallett and brought it back to 3-3 with some inspired darts. So one thing we can't do is write Nick Kenny off at any moment. He was getting down to that 1-2-1 after 9 darts, and that's exactly what he's done again here. 140 ton 140. You've just lost your throw.
120. Nicky Rock 121.
As good as it's going to get. That is quality darts. You want to wrap this one up, this 1-2-1. Treble 17. Would give him a poke at the bull. Leaves it
97.
absolutely
Graham
perfect.
Rock
Double 12.
112.
After 12, but it's the 112 for Graham Usher. Chooses tops.
72.
Nick Kenny has an opportunity to break.
Nicky required 24.
Graham Usher's mismatched darts. Double 12 after 12.
Game shot on the
And
fifth leg.
pins it with a 13th
Nick
dart.
Kenny.
And Nick Kenny gets a break back. He's going to need one more if he's going to win this oh-so-crucial clash. But the sixth leg is all about
Sixth
holding
leg,
his
it's
throw
Nick to throw first.
and
Game
then
on.
forcing the issue of Graham Usher in the decider. You cannot underestimate the importance of the next few minutes in the context of Group B.
59.
An absolute worst case scenario. At least he's rescued a little bit of the situation with the legs. Because that could really come into play.
94.
At the back end of the session. The players are tied on points. It will be the leg difference. That will be the first deciding factor in how the league table is presented.
97.
Now, I'm just doing some calculations here as to the group scenario. If Nick Kenny
140.
should go through, he's on 8 points, and then it would effectively, because the way that the last games of the group lie in terms of Pallett against Usher, who would both be on 6 points, that would be a straight shootout
60.
to go through if he turns it around. But as we have it here, Usher looks as if he's going to be the man to get it onto 8 points. He's got the
60.
advantage here against the throw, leading 3-2. And he's 207 after 9. Nick Kenny on 285 with the darts after the same number. Needs a couple of trebles here.
96.
All getting a bit tricky on the number side. It's almost like we need a mid-match break so Chris Mason can step in and update us on the situation as the match goes. Nick Kenny needs to hit here, and that is a perfect lie. You expect him to find trebles.
100, Graham, you have 111.
He's himself on a 2-darter. Graham's already had a shot at a ton plus finish, missing the 112 in the last leg.
57.
We get a shot
Nick,
at the
you require
111. 89 for a holder throw for a level game. Take us to a tiebreaker. Second time for Nick Kenny today. We'll use the 20s. 20 for bull. Treble will give him the double 5.
Game shot
and
the sixth
lovely dart there for Nick Kenny with a lovely camera angle. The dart coming over the top. Levels up the game. One dart in hand at the bull.
7th and finally it's Graham to throw first.
But Nick Kenny digs deep. We said do not write him off. Tends to pull something out of the locker when his back's up against the wall, and he has there. That 89 finish. Following that very good leg of throw.
And as I mentioned, if Nick Kenny wins this leg, he'll go through because Pallett and Usher would play in a straight match shootout. Only one of them would be able to then get on 8 points alongside Nick Kenny.
60.
So he can automatically go through with victory here. Graham Usher gets the 2 points. We will still need the abacus.
Not a time there for Nick Kenny to get off with a trebleless visit. Makes these one treble visits from Graham Usher painful. Rather than jabs, they are landing blows. And he has gave himself a big cushion, 90 plus what is in his hand.
140.
And when that is a 140, Nick Kenny needs perfection from this point.
Pulled out a big visit at a big time. He's forced the hand of Nick Kenny here. But Nick Kenny is coming up with the answers. He can't leave a finish no matter what he gets of his last dart.
140.
But he can ask and pose the question of Graham Usher. And this is the answer. This is the response.
129.
And this has been an excellent last leg from Graham Usher. Tops after 12 in a crucial last leg. When you've been pegged back from 3-1 up to 3 apiece, where you've missed a dart at tops for the match. He's going to return for 3 more at that target. But my word, is this going to be under severe pressure? So Graham Usher wants tops. Double 10. To win an absolute cracker of a match and put himself in a brilliant position to progress through Group B. He puts himself onto 8 points, and he does it with an average of 97.41. 6 140s crucially in the game. 4 from 8 on the doubles. A 50% checkout ratio. That's the difference between him and Kenny in this one. The high out of 94 as well was a pivotal moment. We're going to take a short break. When we return, it's the players that bookend the table going toe-to-toe. It's Justin Smith against Jared Cole.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series as we really get to the business end of Group B. Let's take a look at the stats from that one, and they do make great reading. Graham Usher edging out Nick Kenny, who's lost both matches tonight. Remember, he was the overnight leader, started this session top, and now finds himself in 4th position. 97.41 the average for Usher. 1-180, 6 140s. In fact, he had 18 scores of a ton or more in that match, and 11 for Nick Kenny. 50% on the doubles was high quality also. So our next match is Justin Smith against Jarrod Cole, but a big one to follow that one, as Dave Pallett will be playing Graham Usher, and that could well be a straight shootout match. Well, without further ado, let's get the action underway with our referee Owen Binks, and in comes Matt and Henry.
Cheers, Mace. Both players know their destiny. Justin Smith is through, Jarrod Cole is out, but for Cole, he'll want a couple of games where he might have a bit of tiramisu, which in translation from Italian is a pick-me-up.
Yeah, he'll get a bit of a pick-me-up. When he looks back on that last game.
Okay, first leg, it's Justin to throw
performance
first.
from Jarrod Cole. 4-1
Game
victory
on.
over Nick Kenny. 93.22 the average. Well, above what we've seen from him so
100.
far. That 118 finish, that would have really made him feel better about that. Wired the 158 as well.
57.
So, signs that we're going to start seeing the Jarrod Cole. I've got him this little roll of honour already so early in his career.
140.
Still only 22 years of age, yet accomplished so much within the game.
80.
Well, that's unlucky. Straight into the treble 5. So it's not as tragic as what it could have been.
60. $139.
He's himself on 225. Justin Smith will get 6 from 201 with the throw.
97.
So both players know their fate. Justin Smith is through. He can guarantee top spot with victory against Cole here,
58. Justin,
who, regardless of the outcome come the end of the evening, should most likely find himself on bottom.
64. Jarrod 167.
But he spoke about pick-me-ups. The 167 would have most certainly been one
43.
way to have gone about
Justin,
it.
40.
But Topsa Smith, after 15, gives himself the opening leg with the darts. With throw then after the opener, Jarrod Cole has that honour in leg 2.
Second against Jarrod to throw first.
Their fates are sealed, but they could seal other people's fates still. They've got 2 jokers in the pack. Jarrod Cole will play the last game of the evening against David Pallett as he fires in his first 180 of this one. Justin Smith will play Nick Kenny.
30.
Nick Kenny is desperation mode now. Nick Kenny needs that victory
140.
over Justin Smith, so they've still got a big part to play in this. Next game coming your way is David Pallett, Graham Usher.
83.
We should know at the end of that one. All the equations, all the questions will be asked, and then we'll see
57.
what the players can deliver for the answers.
Graham Usher wins that. It will go down potentially to the very last dart
60.
of the evening.
Jarrod 124.
Jarrod Cole wants 124, has the luxury of time. He'll pick his options, decides to go the 16th route,
84.
and will leave himself on tops after 12. And since knowing his fate, he's
60.
just relaxed
Jarrod
somewhat.
140.
He's playing with a bit of freedom, and playing better as a consequence.
Game's on the second
Finding
leg.
his form, finding
Jared
that
Cole.
pick-me-up. And he levels up at 1 apiece, all with throw.
Third against Justin
Within
to throw
13
first.
darts as well. Average of 94.07. 1 from 1 on the doubles.
81.
And the solitary max of the match. Justin, he'll want to try and make sure he keeps the
100.
form guide as positive as possible going into tomorrow night's final, which you can see live with us. 10 o'clock starts in front of a crowd here in Portsmouth.
22.
Where he'll be hoping he won't throw too many darts like that.
57.
Ironic, because this is the game yesterday where I took note of the trebleless visits and the wayward darts that Jared Cole was throwing, and then Justin Smith returning the favour here, going into that
140.
opening 6 darts in this leg. Invited Jared Cole to
60.
hit the breaker throw here. 4 after 9 is good darts.
58.
Just beginning to take a stranglehold of this game, I think, is Jared Cole. Averaging 92.
58. Jared of 146.
And he's going to get 6 on the 146. It's down for treble 19.
57.
So I just get the vibe at the moment that Justin Smith just lost a little bit of
100. Jared of 89.
zip. Mentioned that he kept losing that lie yesterday.
49.
He
Justin
loses it
Yamaguchi,
again there.
80.
Big 20 would have gave him the dart at the ball. Instead, he can only lay it up for tops. Even though that's underneath the treble, that's awkward, and he's had to come low.
60. Jared requires
So
40.
Jared Cole will get the opportunity, despite missing the big number, for the breaker throw in a leg he really was in command of. Double 5. He walked. He walked. He thought it was in. He has to recompose. Up for the double 5.
35.
And it drags low.
Justin, you require 20.
You never thought it was likely once he walked on the second dart. And now Justin Smith's up for the double 5. No, he's not. He's going to split
60.
for the double 4. And he misses inside as well.
Jared, you require 5.
Done that all week long, and he's done it all week to relative success.
Game's on the third
Jared
leg.
Cole has to
Jared
split
Cole.
the 5, and he does. 1 double 2 is the equation. It looked like he was going to get the breaker throw all the way through that one till the end.
Paul, look, it's
And
Jared
he
to
sort of
throw
stumbled
first.
over the line. It's not how you go over the line, it's the fact that you do. Jared Cole takes the
135.
2-1 leg lead. So in first for a 3-1 lead.
140.
You sense it's an easier game for Jared to play than Justin. Both, of course, know exactly what's going to happen in terms of
60.
their fate at the end of tonight. Jared's obviously looking to rediscover some confidence. Whilst for Justin, he knows he's through. And I suppose that adrenaline, which naturally courses its way through your body, is naturally just going to slowly but slowly drift away. And it's trying to get yourself back up
59.
after knowing that your main objective of the couple of days has been achieved.
Just looking at the fixtures, and he's got some things to
140.
look forward to. Like I say, he's got the opportunity to play spoiler for the fellow countryman and local derby a bit later on when he takes on Nick Kenny.
55. Justin, you require 81. $25.
We're talking about locality. Justin Smith is in the southeast region of the board. And Jared Cole, who looked in a good position at 2-1 up, could see
60.
the break that
Justin, you
he
require
accrued
56.
come and go. Within a split second. That's a nice marker.
20.
Two well-thrown darts, neither go.
32.
And so the champagne finish for Jared Cole.
Dart players love this finish. It looks great when it goes in. The two balls leaves a double 16 for Jared Cole.
160.
He comes just inside. That's a dart player's dream, that 1-3-2. You got lots of options. Utilise that 25. Just squeeze that in the 2. He wasn't sure. He had to go double check. That leaves him 2 8s. Puts the hand on the trousers and comes inside.
Jared requires 16. Eight. Justin, you require 8.
2 4s.
Game shot on the 4 flag. Justin Smith.
And Justin Smith levels us up at 2 apiece.
He
gets the break back.
To throw first. Game on.
Going into leg 5, and we're as you were in this match.
59.
The 21 dart. Breaker throw there for Justin Smith. But like we said in the last one, doesn't matter how you do things, it's the fact that you do. That leg column doesn't say anything more but the raw data,
60.
which is 2 legs apiece.
The figures are only a guide. The only statistic in a game of
190.
darts that matters is the legs column, or the sets column if you're playing set play.
59.
Just traditional match play here at the Super Series. Best of 7, all of our matches this week, including tomorrow night's finals, where we will
60.
see Justin Smith in action. He's going to join Martin Thomas, Dan Reed, and Lisa Ashton from 10 p.m. tomorrow evening. Please
60.
do join us. And remember, you can be a part of the crowd, be a part of the experience here at the Super Series. Join the Darty Party in Pompey. Dartshop.tv for more information. As Jared Cole leads 160 after 12, and we might see yet another break.
137. Jared 160.
Smith doing everything he can to make that not come through. A 137 there leaves him on the 126, which we'll see him start on the 19s.
126.
4 19s will give him a poke at the ball. 2 19s give Jared Cole a poke at the 60 for the breaker throw.
58. Jared requires 60.
And to put him one away. Tops. Double 10.
40. Justin, you require 68.
And that's now 2 from 11 for Jared Cole. Justin Smith's going to get 1 dart at tops, and he doesn't like the lie because of the way the first dart dragged
48.
down, because the flight was completely obscuring
Jared
the target.
20.
And so Jared Cole gets a second bite at the cherry. Double 5.
Game
And he doesn't pass the opportunity by.
Cole.
And it's yet another breaker throw in this match. And from Jared Cole's perspective, he'll be hoping that we finally get a hold, because if he does in this particular leg, he will be the victor. And it would be 2 victories from 2, having lost his first 5 in Group B.
99.
I'm not convinced Justin Smith wanted to hit the big 8 there. I think he was going 16 for double 16. It's been his route that he
59.
normally likes to leave on that double 16. You can see the frustration almost that he left it, the surprise. I think that was a missed single and it just threw him off.
180.
There's no speculating about what Jared Cole was trying to do there. Second 180 of the match.
140.
Puts him in the driving seat of this match. After losing 5 in a row, getting a touch of the Richardsons.
95. $58. Jared 127.
for the match. You get one dart, a double eight for the match, and to win it in style. He's going to return for that double eight, which he's left after 12.
100, average of a coin, 16. Game shot.
And the Jared Cole resurgence continues. He's looking to finish off his group with a flourish. He's doing more than his part to try and do that. A 4-2 victory against the man who is at the top of the group in Justin Smith. Those are the 3-dart averages. In truth, it's the doubling percentages that are the reason why they're in the 70s. 2 maximums for Jared Cole. High outs of 40. He's a 4-2 victor. It's another win for him. But after the break, another key battle in the race to get themselves into finals night tomorrow night as David Pallett takes on Graham Usher.
So Jared Cole makes it back-to-back wins. Let's have a look at the stats from that one. Justin Smith, of course, already safely through to tomorrow night's final. He currently is sat on 10 points, but another couple of points for Jared Cole, just giving himself a bit of confidence for when he does return after Champions of Champions Weeks. Let's have a look at the table. And Justin Smith, as I just said, out clear on 10 points. Graham Usher on 8 points. He's up next against David Pallett, so it's a must-win game for David Pallett. And then it will be all down to Nick Kenny, who will face fellow Welshman Justin Smith in our penultimate game of the session. David Pallett is the 8-13 favourite against Graham Usher, who has been priced at 6-5. Well, it's a must-win game for both players, but more importantly for David Pallett, who is 2 points behind Usher. Well, Owen Binks is ready on stage with the two players, And our comms team are ready.
Thank you very much indeed, Chris. We're going through the abacus here in the commentary booth. And we've been doing some searching through the break. And there are some really interesting scenarios that are in play here. And Matthew Edgar, the last couple of minutes, we've just received a message which has absolutely spun our heads.
I've got the table up in front of me and I'm looking it over, but Jared Cole might not be going home after all.
60.
It's going to mean he's going to need results to go his way, and it does mean that he's going to need to beat David Pallett 4-0, but it's still in the balance.
My head hurts.
I think I might need a leg or two just to try and work all these possibilities out.
So does Jared, by the sounds of it.
100.
Well, potentially we could see one of the all-time
57.
great conclusions to a group here at the Super Series. Well, let's concentrate on this one because David Pallett takes
140.
on Graham Usher. Pallett finds himself on 6 points with a legs difference of +1. Graham Usher is on 8 points. A victory for Usher here would see him through on 10 points, and there'll be no need for him to be adding up and subtracting and finding an abacus somewhere in deepest, darkest Portsmouth at around about 12:30 on a Friday night.
This is perfect for Graham Usher. Mentioned a few times, you want your own fate in your own hands, and this is the last time we're going to see Graham Usher in this group, so he knows if he can get the win, he'll be able to leave here knowing he's through, not having to think about the last two games, Nick Kenny versus Justin Smith and Jared Cole versus David Pallett.
45. David, you require 84.
Jared Cole pulls this off. The Undertaker will be trending again.
Game shot in the first.
That's a great finish for David
Pallett.
Cleans that up nicely. 84. 2 darts, treble 20, double 12. To hold a throw for David Pallett.
Second leg, it's Graham to throw first.
Give us more problems in our mathematics.
Cole needs Usher to win big. We'll allow Matt to do the mathematics.
100.
You do 4 and then you do a gate with the 5th.
Do some mathematics.
140.
It's too late for this. Thank you for tuning in to us, though, at the midnight hour. Do get in touch with us. It's at MSS Darts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Do appreciate your company. Hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you are. Going to be back tomorrow night,
140.
10 o'clock. For the finals of week 7. Only the champion of the week.
140. Graham, you record 161. $99. David, you record 167. $49. Graham, you record 62. 17.
He's on 17. For double 8.
Game shot in the
Great recovery there from Graham Usher. Just dropped a little bit low on that treble 10. Looking for the 30 points to leave him the double 16. He ended up coming around onto the 8.
So gets David to throw first.
Takes it out in 15 darts, and just been doing the mathematics, and I'm looking at that Nick Kenny game. Next game with Justin
57.
Smith. Gonna need something big, but when we look at Justin Smith, last game, it's averaging 72. Nick Kenny, take a lot of hope from that.
Indeed. Now, you can put your shoes back on, Matt, because I've been given some news regarding the situation in the group. Jared Cole is out. He's been
128.
eliminated. Elsewhere, if Graham Usher wins 2 legs,
41.
he's through. Via legs difference. So that's what we've been informed here in the commentary box. So Jared Cole has been eliminated. Graham Usher is 1 leg away from qualification, which would put the destiny of the last place down to Pallett and Kenny. Both have one more game after this. Nick Kenny up against Justin Smith, and David Pallett would take on Jared Cole.
180.
We said it'd be tight. Does it get any tighter than that?
180
there as well for David Pallett.
David,
Leaves himself
8.
double 4 after just 12 darts. It's for a hold. Up to the ones.
6.
And this could be it for Graham Usher.
85.
We've been told he needs a leg. At 2
Aim
darts.
shot on the third
And
leg.
that should be
Graham
enough for
Usher.
Graham Usher on legs difference to guarantee himself a place to tomorrow night's final, meaning we now have 5 players of our 6
It's Graham to throw first.
completed in the lineup. And David Pallett, who's on stage right now.
140.
And Nick Kenny, who's coming up in your next game against Justin Smith, battling out for that final place.
75.
Well, Pallett would, with victory here, de facto put himself on progression point. So we know 5 of the 6
92.
names. Lisa Ashton, Dan Reed, Martin Thomas, Justin Smith, Graham Usher. There's a question mark on my notepad as to who is going to be named number 6.
128.
Graham Usher completes and wins this game.
47.
Nick Kenny and Dave Pallett may come down to legs. We spoke about legs all the way through the evening and how important it was that when you're taking defeat, you get as many legs as you can. Dave Pallett did that in the defeat he took to Justin Smith. But if he takes a heavy defeat here,
100. David Divock, 158.
so many possibilities, and there's only 2.5 games left.
You might need a new pen by the end of this, Matt, the way you've been jotting down all the
63.
calculations as to how this group is going to finish. It's quite simple for Graham Usher. He is through. And as Graham Usher gets the ball, he puts himself within 1 of victory, which would completely rubber stamp his place in amongst the finals. He's through already, but he'd love to do it with a victory and a fantastic 1-2-2 finish at that, averaging 97.2. Pallett 95.84. Pallett hitting the solitary max of the match. And I think at this juncture as well, whilst we talk about probabilities and outcomes, just to remind you how groups are decided
100.
if players are level on points. So, if it is level on points, it will go to legs difference. It will then go to legs 1 overall, then head-to-head as the tiebreakers. And if all of them are level, then we've got the
56.
ultimate. The 9-dart shootout.
I think that would be fitting to a group like this to see a 9-dart shootout. But Graham Usher will go top of the league.
180. David
Victory here against Dave
38.
Pallett. That leg difference would be very strongly in his favour.
58.
No finish here for Graham Usher. Would be wanting to leave it
90.
handy, and that
David,
he
you require
does. That leaves
80.
him just 75 points for the 2 points. And he's got to first hope David Pallett can't take out this 80. It'll be 20 for tops. A little bit awkward there. Might have to come to the right.
Game shot in
And
the
does
fifth
come to the
leg.
right. Comes round
David Pallett.
the dart, round the flight that was just sticking up and taking away that left-hand side of the bed. David Pallett, a fantastic dart there. Pinning
Sixth
that
leg,
one
it's
in the
Graham
double
to throw
top
first.
for a 15 dart holder throw, but he's going to need to find a break. And he does need points.
85.
Graham Usher no longer needs the points. He would like to top the table to get the advantage of throw. But Pallett fishing for that last space in tomorrow night's final.
86.
David Pallett, as you say, needs a break. He also needs snookers.
100.
Because let's have a look at the head-to-head then between the players on both nights, Nick Kenny and Dave Pallett. Because in the action on Thursday night, Nick Kenny beat David Pallett by 4 legs to 1. In the return fixture tonight, Pallett won by 4 legs to 3. So in the head-to-head, Nick Kenny has a better record
100.
than David Pallett. So the ball at the present moment in time is in Nick Kenny's court. Although David Pallett went into this game with a +1 legs difference, Nick Kenny -1. Well, defeat here
56.
would automatically put Pallett in the best case scenario onto 0. If it's 4-2, they are
41.
level on legs difference going into the final round of fixtures.
Not the best counting here from David Pallett. But
139.
when you throw perfect darts, you can get away with that. But would have been better advised to start on the 19s
90.
there.
David, you've got
303.
164.
You sort of feel Pallett's going to get close to this at some point. You sort of feel the 164 would be his ideal finish, the way he switches over to that 18. It'd be so poetic.
131.
I think he's gonna get
Premier
close to it.
85.
He didn't get close to that bullseye.
And
Game
Group
shot on
B
the match.
is going
Graham
all the way
Usher.
to the wire to see who the final qualifier will be. Congratulations goes to Graham Usher. He is there. He joins Lisa Ashton, Dan Reed, Martin Thomas and Justin Smith in the fantastic finale tomorrow night with a 95.7 average, 1 maximum, 4 from 5 on the checkouts, a high out of 1-2-2. But the race for the final place between Nick Kenny and David Pallett is most definitely going to be in falling. We see Nick Kenny in action after the break. He gets one more game, one final chance as he takes on Justin Smith.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. Well, Graham Usher has ensured his place in tomorrow night's final alongside Justin Smith from this Group B. But we've got 2 matches to bring you and plenty on both. Let's have a quick look at the stats. And it is Graham Usher with another very tidy average, as did David Pallett. 95.73 Usher, 96.21 in defeat for David Pallett. He actually stayed on stage for a good couple of minutes, almost sort of staring at the stats in disbelief. But look at the finishing. 4 out of 5 for Graham Usher, 80%. And that was just about the difference between the two. Up next, it is an all-Welsh battle. Let's have a quick look at the table. And I'll try and explain what is going on. Usher and Smith safely through on 10 points. Nick Kenny and David Pallett both on 6 points, -1. Both have 1 game to play. Nick Kenny will be facing his fellow Welshman Justin Smith in our penultimate match, and it will be David Pallett against Jared Cole in our final match. And, well, the other permutations are impossible to even contemplate right now, but if they both win, it may go down to a leg difference. If Nick Kenny can win 4-3 and then David Pallett wins 4-2, he will go through. So without further ado, let's get on with the action. Owen Binks is on stage with the players.
Well, I'm not sure whether we've seen as tight a finish to a Group B ever here at the MODUS Super Series.
Well, defeat doesn't put Nick Kenny out, and a win doesn't put him through. Couldn't be any tighter.
We are going down to the wire. Grab yourself another cup of coffee. Grab yourself some more caffeine. Strap yourselves in, because this is going to be a run to the line. This marathon week is going to get a sprint finish in Group B, and we will not know what happens possibly until the final dart goes in. As Matt rightly alluded to, even a victory for Nick Kenny, there's no guarantees. The situation is as follows. So Nick Kenny is on 22 legs won. David Pallett is on 19 legs won. So Nick Kenny has to equal David Pallett's result.
As easy as that.
140.
It sounds easy, but practically it could be interesting.
43.
Just got to win as strong as possible. I believe a 4-0 victory would be the only thing really that would guarantee Nick Kenny qualification at this phase. So, can put it into his own hands, but he's going to have to be perfect here.
Well, it's advantage in every metric away from legs difference.
140.
As I say, Nick has 1 more legs. Nick has a better head-to-head record against Dave Pallett.
So, nice and simple for Nick Kenny. Just
96.
win 4-0 and you can enjoy the last game.
60.
He might be close to claiming the first quarter of that. 2:07 after 9 with the darts. Now, if you're a player in this situation, I mean, we are confused in the commentary box about some of the scenarios. As a player, you just have to go up and just play. Just get the 2 points, and whatever happens, happens.
Honestly, as a player who's played in these group phases many times, you're completely unaware of all of that. You just focus on winning your game. The bullseye here for Nick Kenny if he chooses to go for it. Needed to go for it in that situation, but
158.
he won't be aware of what he needs to do here. He'll just be focusing on getting the win. He won't know the legs and the ifs, the buts and all of that. That's for the rest of us. He could just be worried about getting 4 legs on the board, and he'll come back in and see if it's enough. That's enough in this leg. 49 finish for Nick Kenny. Takes it out with the second dart in hand, and he's already on his march. He needs to get 4 legs as quick as possible.
Second against
Justin.
Justin.
Like to see that 0 stay in the column of Justin Smith here, because that's the only way you can guarantee his qualification without us having to watch the Jared Cole, David Pallett match with the shoes, the socks,
125.
fingers, the gloves, the marbles, anything we can get our hands on to help us work it out.
Good luck finding marbles. I'm not sure there's too many in the
97.
commentary box.
$60.
So Justin Smith hit a performance in his last game that Nick Kenny would like to see in this one. A 72 average from Justin Smith last time out. Didn't hit a single 180 in that game.
85.
Which was a dip off of the form we saw from him earlier in the evening. A 4-1 victory over Graham Usher, who also qualifies. He took a 4-3 victory over David Pallett.
Now, if you're David Pallett, he's going to be practicing a course ahead of that final game, but naturally, how often will he be gluing himself to that screen, watching every dart as it goes in, including that max from Nick Kenny?
If you're David Pallett, you're not aware of the leg situation. The only
43.
thing you're hoping is that Justin Smith wins.
139.
It's the only thing you'll be aware of, wins and losses. You don't tend to look any deeper than that. Good treble 20 from Nick Kenny. He's got to be careful here that he doesn't carry this into the treble.
99.
Goes nice and high
33.
to leave himself tops. Justin Smith back on 133. He's got the first part of this. He needs another treble. It will be the 19s. The 7 doesn't help. So Nick Kenny will get 3
101.
darts.
Nick, you're recording 40.
Tops for a breaker throw. To be halfway to the equation, that will see him go through to Saturday.
Double 10, and I think the fly's got in the way.
20.
And is that akin to Joe Cullen at the match play all those years ago? Justin Smith returns for double 16 for holder throw to level us up and level us up. He does.
Smith.
Nick Kenny have 3 darts to open up a 2-0 lead. He would have had the throw in the third to open up a 3-leg advantage with 4 left to play.
First.
Those are the averages. Hard to prize them apart at this present moment in time.
Importantly, though, leg for Justin
100.
Smith. We're aware of it. Let's just give David Pallett now opportunity to put this in his own hands.
140.
Nick Kenny won 4-0. It was over for Pallett. We're hoping that Justin Smith can get a few more legs. Just give him a bit more wiggle room when he plays Jared Cole. But here's
45.
something interesting for you. David Pallett has played Jared Cole twice. It's a 2-0 head-to-head stat in
100.
favour of David Pallett. Scorelines of 6-0 and 4-0. Jared Cole has never took a leg off David Pallett in a competitive game of darts.
85.
If we needed any more tungsten tension. Well, that could... Oh,
20.
my goodness gracious me. You thought the first one was bad enough, and then the third one was a juggling act. He knocked one out when it plonked the second in.
Good thinking there from Nick Kenny. Using the 19s and switching to the 25 to leave the 170. Justin Smith would have been expecting to have been a lot closer in this situation, but that's not staying in the board for him.
58.
And he bows down to the board
170.
with that last start. Gives Nick Kenny 6 at the 170. And just tee this up nicely.
59.
Going finish here for Justin Smith back on 183. He did that earlier where he looked over to the scoreboard and then threw the dart straight in the treble 20, which is probably one of the best darts I've seen this week. This has been one of the best timed finishes we've seen this week. 111 for Nick Kenny, who I think's miscounted a little bit there.
Justin, 123.
At a crucial time. And it's ABC, as easy as 1, 2, 3. for Justin Smith. One dart at the bullseye
98.
has come and
Nick
gone.
require 56.
So Nick Kenny will be presented with more opportunities at double. He's had darts to win every single leg in this match. He spurnt the opportunity in the last leg. And passes it by in this. And Smith
25.
returns to 25 for a breaker throw. Nick Kenny could conceivably be 3-0 up, but he finds himself 2-1 down. And it continues to twist, does the plot as to who gains the final place into finals night tomorrow. Not even Agatha Christie could have fought this up.
100.
You always thought there was going to be one final twist. It looks like it's going to go down. Well, in some respects, it is going to go down to the final game. We're going to find out over the next few legs what the scenario is going to be. You sense this is a big leg for Nick Kenny because he'll know he's had darts to win all 3 legs here. He could have been 3-0 up. He's 2-1 down. And he knows the situation here.
We're trying to win as strong as he possibly can. Every time he hears that game shot call by Owen, Justin Smith just racking up that legs column. But ironically, Nick Kenny can lose this game and still qualify, depending on what happens in the Jared Cole, David Pallett game. So he's got to get as many legs as possible, even in defeat.
57. Nick, you've got
Opportunity here to get the
161.
throw back. He lost it in the last leg. 161. 101. 50.
127. Justin, you've got 144.
34. 144 for Justin Smith. Tried to use those 18s, which he's been using a little bit of cover recently.
41. Nick, you've required 34.
Question is here, does he go straight for the 17s or does he split? Double 16. Huge dart incoming.
Two.
But yet again, darts have come and gone. That's now 1 from 11 for Nick Kenny. He's had darts to win every single leg of this match. And Justin Smith is going to get one dart at double 16 to make it 3-1. And that could be a crucial moment in deciding the final place into finals night tomorrow. 3 from 5 on the doubles for Justin Smith. 1 from 11 for Nick Kenny. And Justin Smith finds himself 1 away from a victory, which will put the fate of this group right down to potentially the very last dart.
60.
And Nick Kenny can only kick off with a 60.
60.
You've said he's had darts in every single leg. 1 from 11 for Nick Kenny. He will not be happy with that. 9.09. The percentage.
35. 58.
And perhaps understandably, things have got a bit tense.
Just shaking his hand at the back of the stage. 6 starts in and he's still in the 400s. Sort of feeling the back's against the wall. It's now or never. Said Nick Kenny likes to respond in these situations. Gonna need to find something. And not soon, it needs to be now.
Justin Smith does not like that lie. Had to move across to the treble 18. The treble 20 bed was completely and utterly obscured.
Finds a big treble.
140.
He was hunting for a big treble. He's got 2. Give me 11 darts to get a treble in this
58.
leg. But he's got a 60-point buffer on the scoreboard. He's got 3 darts in his hand. He's got 1 leg on the board. He's got as many as he can.
96.
However, what a time for one of them.
111.
A 140 to put him on 127. Puts the pressure on Nick Kenny, who needs this 111 to stay in the match. Tops.
91.
And now he's had darts to win 5 legs in succession. He's only won 1 as of yet. He may now lose the match. He needed the treble 19 to leave a dart at the ball. So Nick Kenny will return
46.
for double 10 for a holder throw and to bring it back to 3-2.
Game shot.
The doubles have not been his friend in this one, but he pings that one with the first dart, keeps his hopes alive. And with every leg he puts on the board, his chance increases.
Sixth leg, it's Justin to throw first. Game on.
But Nick Kenny knows this is the leg. Justin Smith has the darts, has to break here. And with a 2 treble start from the Bearded Dragon, that task has been made a whole lot harder.
So I felt that
60.
first start was a good lie there for Nick Kenny. Not being able to use that offers a big opportunity now to Justin Smith.
100.
So I feel we're getting to maximum or nothing territory here for Nick Kenny.
Not a nice lie, that one, Matt. That's a
140.
really good last dart.
$91.
301. Plays 170. Needs to fill this. Is filling this. Absolute quality darts on Nick Kenny. When his back was against the wall, he comes out swinging with a 140, 180. Leaves the 121 for a much-needed breaker throw to take us all the way.
Down we go. Treble 17 for the bullseye to keep himself in it.
72.
And is that the last dart Nick Kenny throws, not just in this match, but in this group. Justin Smith returns for 72.
54.
Had 1 dart for the match at double 18. That went
49.
inside. So Nick Kenny will return for 49 to take us the distance.
Steps back to compose himself. Double 16. And that is a quality shot to complete a quality leg of darts there for Nick Kenny. When Justin Smith opened with a 140 on the first 3 darts, you feared the worst for Nick Kenny. But then he hits that 140,
final leg, it's
180, goes out in 14 darts, takes it all the way to a last leg shootout where Nick Kenny will have the advantage of throwing first.
So this is the scenario then on legs difference. Both players went into the final round of games -1 on legs difference. If Nick Kenny wins this leg, he'll put himself on 0. So that would mean David Pallett would have to win by 2 clear legs against Jared Cole.
Remember that stat of earlier. Jared Cole has never won a competitive leg of darts against David Pallett.
94.
10 attempts.
$135.
However, if Nick Kenny loses this game, he would be on -2, which would mean a victory of any description for David Pallett would see him qualify.
58.
Nick Kenny is 174 points away from victory to put himself on 8 points. It would be his first win of the night. And how timely it would be.
94.
And a victory for Nick Kenny would mean Graham Usher wins the group. So a lot riding on this 80. 20 for tops. For Nick Kenny to secure a crucial 4-3 victory. But he's going to have to wait and see whether he qualifies through Group B following that 4-3 victory against Justin Smith with an 88.13 average, 4 from 16 on the checkouts, a high out of 80. Justin Smith with a 103, which we thought was going to swing the game in his direction. But the scenario from here is Nick Kenny's going to have to wait and see. But our congratulations goes to Graham Usher. He is the group winner as he advances through to finals night tomorrow night. And so it all comes down to this. Jared Cole against David Pallett to see who gets the final spot in finals night. And it's coming up next.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, and a huge win there for Nick Kenny, but it's out of his hands. Let's have a quick look at the stats. As you can see, winning 4-3 with an 88.13. That defeat for Justin Smith confirms that it is Graham Usher who wins this Group B. Quick look at the table, and I'll explain to you all the scenarios. Quite simply, David Pallett has to win 4-2 or better against Jared Cole, and it will be David Pallett joining Justin Smith, Graham Usher in coming out of Group B to join Lisa Ashton, Dan Reed and Martin Thomas. Without further ado, let's get on with the action.
Thank you, Chris. And so it all comes down to this. The final game of Group B has the final place at tomorrow night's finals riding on it. The situation for David Pallett is clear. He has to win 4-2 or better. Otherwise, the final spot in the showpiece finale tomorrow will go the way of Nick Kenny, who will be watching wherever he is at this present moment in time, probably glued to the television screen, up against Jared Cole, who, after losing 7 games in a row here at the Super Series, has won his last 2 and has steadily got better game upon game.
Okay, first look, it's Jared to throw first.
This has such an interesting dynamic, Matthew Edgar.
Said Jared becomes the joker of the pack, the spoiler of the pack. As we've said that, he's actually found back-to-back victories. Beat Justin Smith and Nick Kenny. Could be the ultimate spoiler if he
58.
Takes 3 legs in this game against David Pallett.
43.
Interesting though, because he's never won a leg against David Pallett. So I've only met twice before. It was a 6-0 victory for David Pallett the first time. A 4-0 victory just yesterday.
$60.
With darts like that. David Pallett again though on that 303.
56.
You're better off utilising the 19s on that shot.
$96.
He's glued to the screen. Drama. We said this group would be tight, and it is literally coming down to the very last game.
56.
Come down to the very last dart in the very last leg.
$96.
Well, Jared Cole, his first 2 are finished, but David Pallett may find himself in a more favourable position in a few moments' time.
Ironically, before a dart was even thrown, these 2 was the bookie's favourite and the second favourite.
148.
I was probably expecting we'd be debating over who was going to top the table at this point. And we're counting legs and
58.
one of them can even qualify in 3rd place.
Incredible when you think about it. So David Pallett wants 67 for the first of 4 legs he needs. He needs to win 4-2 or better.
47. Jared to require 90.
And already he might be in the most perilous of positions if Jared Cole can take out this double 10, but it just goes inside.
20. Game shot on the first
That goes
leg.
inside.
David
it goes
Pallett.
inside the wires. And that is the 11th consecutive leg that David Pallett has took against Jared Cole in
Second against
competitive
David
darts.
to throw first.
And he'll be throwing first to make it 12. Can make it up to 14.
121.
Could make it through to Saturday. He's lined up in the finals.
59.
Few pounds in the pocket.
140.
Good darts from David Pallett here. When he needs it the most. 121, 140. Jared Cole slipping back into that habit of
92.
trebleless visits.
Nick Kenny will be watching this nervously.
92.
Pallett finds himself on a finish after 9 with the darts. Jared Cole needs a lot to leave the fish. Finds a lot to leave the
180.
fish.
David Liverpool 148.
For a 2-0 lead. To put himself halfway there. He's going to get one dart at double 14.
120. Jared Liverpool 170.
And that would have been perhaps the finish of the week. 95 left.
94. David Liverpool 28.
And so back Pallett goes for double 14. 1 left.
Game shot on the second
And he's up to the
leg.
task. He's
David
halfway there.
Pallett.
And at this rate, if he can get 2 more, if he can win half of the remaining legs, he will go through.
The leg is Jared to throw first.
I think the big thing at the moment there is David Pallett is starting to come into a bit of form here.
97.
15 darter. David Pallett on throw, showing a bit of that form that we've seen him in recently that has allowed him to win a Challenge Tour event, allowed him to win a gold ranked event in the WF
92.
system, the England Open. Got a call up to the Pro Tour. 107 the average in victory over Peter Wright.
140.
So he can hit a very high ceiling at the moment. We saw that in that opening that last leg. 1-2, 1-140 under pressure.
100.
He'll be dancing on the scene if he can get his way through. Oh, what a feeling it would be.
140.
But Jared Cole may get a leg, and suddenly it becomes squeaky bum time.
Again, the counting of David Pallett. Questionable starting on the 20 from 309.
124.
Jared Cole. 6 darts from 124.
84.
Sets it up for Tops. Tops to register his first ever leg against David Pallett in competitive darts. At the 13th time of asking.
40. Game shot on the third leg.
Finally, Jared Cole wins a leg of darts against David Pallett. He does it in 14 darts. It's a hold a throw. David Pallett
Fourth leg, it's
want to get
David
this
to
wrapped
throw
up as soon as
first.
possible. He doesn't have many opportunities. He doesn't have much of breathing room. He doesn't have much wiggle room. Needs to find another 15 darter here, you feel.
Well, he's opened the door up for Jared Cole, and if he wins this leg, breaks the throw, they're in for the leg of all legs
82.
on the night of all nights here at the Super Series. Because David Pallett would have to win it, and then the subsequent one after that
100.
to guarantee his place into tomorrow night's final.
So just a reminder there, Jared Cole can get to 2,
45.
but he cannot get to 3 if you are supporting David Pallett in this one. If Jared Cole gets to 3, Nick Kenny takes the place in Saturday night's final.
56.
David Pallett needs to get this done as quick as possible. I felt Jared Cole, 14 darter in the last leg, was teasing us with a better
81.
performance. Certainly was throwing the darts a lot quicker, visibly quicker.
It felt rhythmic, didn't it? Look at the snarl from
92.
David Pallett. It's what this tournament means to the players. What
58.
qualification means to the players. And it is advantage Pallett in this particular leg. Cole back on 235. He's going to get 6 on 196.
60.
Jared Cole. Might see him utilise the bull here if he can't find a treble with this dart. Try and lead the 170.
65. David Divrick,
Well, he
136.
leads the 170. We've seen it once already this week. Justin Smith. Might not get a shot. That is a nice lie on the treble 20.
96.
Teases him on the
Jared
double
Divrick,
20.
170.
Jared Cole, 170.
Another bullseye.
145.
If that went, it would have got really,
David
really
Divrick,
tricky in
40.
here. But as we have it, Pallett has 3 darts at tops. Double 10.
Game
He
shot
loves
on the
double
full
10.
flag.
He'll love it even more
David
now.
Pallett.
David Pallett is potentially a leg away now. Nick Kenny needs Jared Cole to win each of the next 2 if he is to progress. That's the scenario from here.
96.
Cole has the darts in this one. He would have to break Pallett in the next. Are we entering the final throws
95.
of this thrilling, enthralling, encapsulating Group B campaign?
140.
Just like last time when Jared Cole had the throw. Visibly quicker. Rhythmic, like you say. Finding the treble bed. 6 darts in, he's done around about half of the leg already.
57.
Got a bit of a march in this one, 80 points plus these. Using his mathematics good there as well, using the 19s.
95.
5 19s leads to 170. Something Pete Van Gerwen used to do this, didn't he? He used to always leave the 170. Jared Cole following trend here. He seems to be leaving 170 quite a lot. He nearly tretters to it in the last leg. He got the 2 treble 20s. He won't be doing that this time, but he's got a massive cushion on the scoring.
84.
You may be setting ourselves up for the most grandstand finish possible. Jared Cole, 186 for 3-2.
100. Jared Divrick, 86.
But misses the big number. He's going to return, though.
29.
That would set up basically a one-leg shootout between who goes through, and David Pallett will have the advantage of throw if it goes that far.
59.
It will go that far if Jared Cole takes the 57.
Jared Divrick, 57.
Looking at 17 for tops. Tops. Good marker.
37. David Divrick, 130.
And so this to win it. This to secure his place into the final. Treble 20. Doesn't go. Jared Cole returns for double 10.
59. Jared Divrick, 20. Game shot
Nailed
the
it.
5th leg.
And it all
Jared
comes
Cole.
down to one leg of 501. If David Pallett wins it, he wins the match and secures his place into the final tomorrow night. If Jared Cole sends us to a 7th and deciding leg, Nick Kenny will be the final identity of the finals field tomorrow. It all comes down to this one leg. It's all boiled down to this. All the tension, all the drama, all the twists, all the turns.
60.
And it all comes down to one deciding leg.
And he opens it with a treble-less visit.
134.
Jared Cole doesn't open with a treble-less visit. 2 trebles on the treble 19. Excellent switching from Jared Cole. That's the question of David Pallett. David Pallett is giving us the answers. That is brilliant when your whole week is riding on one leg of darts and you open with a treble-less visit to hit back with a 180.
40.
And the advantage that Jared Cole had after the first throws had been snuffed out. Advantage Pallett. What a leg this is.
140.
What a time to put in a leg like this. 1-2-1 after 9. Jared Cole all the way back on 3-2-7.
139.
6 starts
David
at it.
121.
It's a Vinny's grass now. 1, 2, 1. Doesn't have to go the bullseye route.
He didn't really would with that dart light
89.
perfectly on the top wire. He's left the double after 12. There is only one word to describe that, and that is class. Can he be clinical?
100.
Book his place in
David, you
Saturday's
require
final.
32.
For the final place.
Game
In tomorrow
shot on
night's
the
final.
match.
And David Pallett is there, beating Jared Cole by 4 legs to 2. It's a group that went down to the very last dart. Those are the averages. A 4-2 victory for David Pallett against Jared Cole. Let's get all the reaction now and head up to the balcony to join Chris Mason.
Thank you very much, Henry. Well, the Group B very rarely disappoints, and that going all the way down to that one leg. And you won't see a better 180 this week when he really needed it, and it was his only 180 of the match. So we'll have a quick look at the table. And just to confirm, it is Graham Usher who wins Group B. Justin Smith in second position, qualifying for tomorrow night's final, and David Pallett just pinching that third and final spot from Nick Kenny. They will be joined by Lisa Ashton, Dan Reed, and another Welshman to join Justin Smith in Martin Thomas. So those 6 will be divided into 2 groups, and they will play each other once. The top 2 will make up our semi-finals, and the winners playing each other in the final. The winner taking away £5,000 and, of course, a place in Champions Week. We'll be back this evening at 10 p.m. I hope you can join us.